I'm back. Where's another cooking video? Oh snap! I forgot. I gotta turn the light on. Hold up. We ain't officially ready yet. We back after the technical difficulties. I got a cooking video. We gonna do another cooking video. We gonna make lamb burgers with French fries. I'm not gonna make the French fries. I don't know how to do all that. I only know how to know or do what I know how to do. And if I don't know how to do it, I just don't do it. But let's get this video going. I want to see what these niggas got to talk about, bro. Let's see what's going on, y'all. Let's get this video on moving. Let's see what they got to talk about. Let's get this food going.
And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Who do we vote
You're
for?
talking to a radical, not a Democrat. The
Got
radical
time.
mind state simply is living opposite
Turn my
to
headphones down too.
our colonizers, which
Can y'all hear me?
is
You
an
good?
imperialist,
Yeah,
capitalist mind
let's
state,
get it.
and radical blacks do not believe that that is any way for us
Yeah,
to have
solid.
liberation. Well, here's
So
what
will
you
you-
all keep
no,
doing.
no,
You
just
keep
give me-
interrupting me when I'm talking, and you
My
don't want
hands
to hear
up.
the
But
point that
the
I'm
hands
going
up,
to
don't
make.
move.
point that
And
you're
yet you
raising-
want me to respect your point.
my-
And that's not how a debate works.
Hands up.
If I show you respect, give me the respect back. Ooh, I knew I was going to be surrounded by
No,
ignorance.
no.
but Damn. Let's go.
Hands up,
Greetings. I am
bad.
Amanda Seals, widely known as a comedian, an actress, a
I put
disruptor,
it over
an
here,
annoying
y'all.
person on the internet who always tells the truth. And I am now an artistic intellectual who commits myself to making art that educates.
Oh,
Today,
no.
I am surrounded by 20 black conservatives. My first claim is it is undeniable
What
that
she said-
reparations
what she said,
are
20
just
black
and
conservatives.
necessary.
I thought she was gonna say the C word, but we thinking different, I guess, right now. Let's go ahead. I just want to connect to see what I can see, cause I can't see it right now.
All right, reparations, fair,
Let's get this shit.
necessary. My
We about to
question
throw
would be,
down, yeah.
who's going to get it? Why would they get it?
You
And how long are we
stupid.
going to sit
He
here
said, why?
focusing
Who
on
gonna
trying to
get it?
reparations?
Why would they get
It's
it?
been how
You
many
dumb.
years since slavery? 150 years, 1865? Whenever there's a real thing that the country wants to do,
got me.
they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay.
Shout out to my mom.
There's a
My
problem
mom
with
better
the
than
Asian
your
hate.
mom. I'm just saying.
Let's draft a bill, sign it, and it's done. Anything that needs to be done is
Just
done.
like that.
With
That's
us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education.
And it's not gonna
It's not
help.
going to help. No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that. And we need proper education. A lot of us
He
go to
gon-
these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that'll help us.
I said reputation. Reparation is way more than just a check from the government, bro. It's giving the black people what they deserve. And that check from the government, bro, it will help a lot of black homes, baby. Move your titties out the way. Goddamn. She's got her titties out. Let's get this going, yo. Reparations could help open like a lot of doors for black people, bro. A lot of black children, a lot of black parents, could do more for their kids. That could be a college fund. Get a lot of students through school, help them prepare for school. Parents, invest that in, hella shit. You can help hella people. And I feel like the reason they don't want to do that is because, yeah, it's going to be a million and a trillion and a billion, a million and billion. It's going to be about a million niggas blow that shit. A million niggas going to blow it for sure. But they know that for the ones who don't blow it, that 50K or whatever little money it is, whatever, it don't matter if it's 25, it will help so many people, so it'll help get so many people so far that they know they can't give that power to the black people, but they know they can't do that, bro. You know how many niggas can pay off debt? You know what niggas could do? You give these niggas $10,000. You know what a nigga can do with $10,000, bro? They don't want to get that power to niggas. That's what I feel like, bro. But that's me on some conspiracy shit, personally.
In the real world. So,
What
if
is
you want to
this,
help
babe?
black people, a check from the government,
What's this, y'all? Oh, it's
from
candy.
our tax dollars is going to get raised because, let's be clear, everybody in
Nah,
here
I
is
can
black.
open this candy.
Y'all American, we got to pay
I can open this
taxes.
candy.
It'll go to that. So, I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay.
Look, she weak,
Well,
y'all.
first
She
I'll
can't
start
open the
with,
jar.
it will help on even just a moral level. The
Just sit it
reality is
down.
that the United States has become very
Move
comfortable with
that,
the
move that
fact that
waffle
it does
thing.
not
Give it to
consider
me.
black people equal, and it
Give me the
shows
waffle
that
thing.
in
Give me
many
the waffle
ways
thing.
that I'm sure we
She
will
dropped
discuss
my
over the course
tablet
of
in the
today.
sink of
But
water, bro. Why would she do that?
ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the
She
mindset
always was.
around the use of black people as a labor force in this nation. Back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as
Hello, y'all. Anyway, she could open this shit damn self. She's just lazy. That's what it is. That's more than enough. That's not enough. I think that's enough. She trying to give me high cholesterol. Oh God, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I did that easy one try. One try. Alright, we recording still. How long? Let's just say 6 minutes, 8 minutes. Alright, you done? You did your part. Girlfriend out. You gonna do this? Yeah, you gonna do this. I'm gonna let this oil burn up. She gonna make me cook fries, y'all? Nah, I said I don't do things. Oh Lord. I don't wanna learn. That's cause I wanna learn how to cook mac and cheese. Look at all these French fries your boy got. We about to eat. It's about to be a French fry party.
slave
I'm
labor
about
in
to take you to
prisons.
French fries
So,
city,
on a
boy.
basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our
How y'all
bad.
like it? How y'all like it? Oh yeah,
We
let me
see
get
you
my
now.
kitchen
We
light.
have
I
seen
forgot to
that
get my
done
kitchen
with
light, yes.
Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners who received reparations. When it comes
That
to the
ain't, bro.
use of
That's so
tax
fucked
dollars
up,
to pay
bro. A
reparations,
slave
and this is
owner
going to
getting
come up a lot
reparations,
today,
bro.
it's a matter of values, right? For me, my value system circulates around the fact that I think
There
that
we
as
go.
a community, we should all be engaged in repair for our community. So I
There
don't
we
think
go.
there should be any problem with there being tax dollars spent at repairing consistent efforts that have been made to impede black
One more
people.
potato,
So the
y'all. Let's get
reparations
it.
you're
One
talking
more
about are
potato. Let's
not
get
just
it.
related to slavery. There's reparations that have been discussed all over this nation in different communities as it relates to particular massacres, as it relates to redlining and the impediment of black people to earn wealth by having property. There's been impediments in various ways that can be repaired. And I want to also just add, there's reparations
Shout out to
that
my
are
mama.
considered a cash payment from a government. There's also the version of reparations that shows up in how funds are
The piece just broke off
applicated
the
to
bone.
specific groups of people.
Just
So
the
there's
foot.
multiple ways in which what you're stating cannot happen could very well happen.
Okay, now
On
as far
what?
as the money going towards certain things is going to help us, let's look at Baltimore public schools. They get, I
Uh,
think, the third most money per pupil in the U.S. of A., like $15,000 per
50.
student. But yet, the majority of the population that comes from that environment can't read; they're illiterate. So, we're dumping money on the situation, yes, but yet we're not getting the results we should get from it. Money's not going to help the thing.
This
We
that
need to
hood
just focus
seasoning.
on what we need to
If you
focus
in
on.
the
As far
hood
as black
and
people
you like
being
French fries and
labor force of
chicken,
this
this what
country,
this that
what
seasoning
else are
they
we
be
doing? We
having.
got
Oh
25%
look,
of us
yeah.
on some kind of
No,
government
this that
assistance. One out of
bullshit.
every three
This is
black
not.
men
This
will
is
go to
not what
jail.
you think
We
it
got to
is.
do something. We got to work with our hands, work with tools, do something because we're not
Big
doing much of
old
anything.
funky ass and
And
fell into
also,
the
one more
crack
piece, one
pile.
more
Y'all
piece
should have
here.
seen that. She tripped.
Reparations, again,
Anyway,
always
look.
anchored in front of
This
us, never going to
this ain't
happen.
what you want.
As long as you've been living,
This
as
is
long
what
as
you
I've been
want.
living, as long as everybody been living, they say we need it, we need it, we need it, and it never gets done. One more piece.
You just said one more piece, then you're adding
Hold
another
on,
one.
hold on, I promise.
So
Wait, wait,
hold
wait,
on
wait,
to
wait.
it. No,
One
hold
more
on
piece.
to it.
I'm gonna land the plane. I'm gonna land the plane. I promise. Reparations is a thing. Like I said, it's a carrot to dangle in front of us.
So I think I'm
They're
gonna do
never
it
really
like
going
this.
to get it done. And if it was going to get done, it would have already been done. It's just something that they.
So this nigga like we'll never get it. Stop talking about it. Why can't we just be like, let's keep getting it, but hey, work around it. You know what I mean? Like he a cool argument though, but it's like you know it's it's another way to do what you want and still not, you know, like you trying to compromise and you like you trying to be like, nah, we don't need that. Nah, we do need that because I want that. What you talking about?
Using to try and make us stay Democrat.
What you talking
That's what I
about?
wanted to say.
Well,
Okay,
Democrats are not doing reparations either.
They're not.
This is nonpartisan. This is black
I'll be
partisan.
hurt. Look,
Okay.
look. What if you got reparations, right? They release reparations, and then you find out that you're not descending from a slave. Like, but I've been here my whole life. You telling me, like, nah, bro, you came from Africa. Fuck, like, you don't remember your great great grandpa came, you know, right after he heard that, you know, type shit. Like, yeah, bro, you not. Your people never worked on it. Like, so actually, you was in the north. Your family stayed in the north. Y'all was never slaves.
This is nonpartisan.
I'll be hurt.
There's no
Well, maybe I will be hurt.
To be
I
quite
guess-
honest,
I
you're
guess
not
my
talking to a
family
Democrat.
never-
You're talking to a
Okay,
radical.
Never had
but
no
So
family.
let's
who
land
do
this.
we?
Let's
But I
land this
guess
plane very quick. Wait,
even if your family weren't slaves, y'all still was hit by, you know, like Jim Crow and shit. I guess you get reparations, but that'd be hella hurt. They was like, well, you know, like half y'all from the north, so anyways.
Sir,
vote for?
let's land this plane quickly.
Who do
You're
we vote
talking
for?
to a radical, not a Democrat.
Okay,
And
you
so,
are your own person,
let
but
me
who
tell
do
you
we
something
vote
now. I don't know what they told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
Oh,
'Cause
no.
That's not how we're going to. That's not how we're going to
We having a debate.
A debate does
Yeah,
not
but you
require
cutting her off.
continuously cutting somebody off.
Okay,
Right.
no problem.
Tell
Now,
a
I do
black
wanna
woman.
state
Tell
this.
a black woman.
You're stating things as it relates to how money is not fixing a problem
Partially.
without acknowledging the fact that the
Partially.
problem doesn't exist in a vacuum. And that there are so many other
Partially.
factors that are determining how that money is getting spent to impede it from actually fixing a problem. You can
Don't
put
talk
all
to
the
me.
money into Baltimore public schools you want, but if you are also putting all
Trying to
this money
talk to me
into
while I'm in the
policing,
kitchen shutting it
into communities
What was
that
you
are
gonna say,
not
babe?
getting
'Cause I actually probably
resources,
need
then
advice.
you are also creating your own conundrum. The other part of this is that when you're saying they, you know, the they is a broad
She's saying
context.
that 'cause
And the
I'm about
last
to
part of this that I will say
Hold up,
is that
black
you keep
woman.
saying
Hold up, black
they're
woman. She's saying that because I'm about to fry these french fries. But they gonna goddamn me. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. What she say? What he say? Manny. Don't you chime in, Manny.
dangling this in our face. They're dangling in
They
this our
trying
face.
to tell
Slavery
me how to
lasted for
cook.
400
I'm the
years.
chef in the kitchen.
It hasn't even been
If you
400
want to cook,
years
you cook.
since
Don't
slavery.
cook.
So
Don't
should
cook.
we
You got me.
only fight for a quarter of the time to get repairs?
All right, I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority.
All right.
Please return to your seat.
Okay.
Okay, they think because they got more experience in the kitchen than me, they can tell me what to do. Listen, I don't listen. I don't listen.
My name's Matt Nuclear.
I don't listen.
Hold on,
That's my mama
Matt
about me.
Nuclear?
Matt Nuclear, yes.
Matt Nuclear, give me a better handshake on that. Let's
Thank
do
you.
it.
I
All right.
appreciate having this conversation with a beautiful black woman like yourself. This is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black
All right.
violence.
So
I don't
I
see how
was trying
reparations
to,
are going
like,
to solve
watch it
anything.
over here,
You can
but
give
it's
everyone
my
here like
email
a
keep
$50,000
popping up and
check, especially
everything.
people that are in
I
the
already
streets
got
who
a
are
board out
committing
now,
violent crimes
so, like,
consistently.
I'm
A
just not
$50,000
gonna
check
watch
is not
it
going to
from
fix
over. I'm
anything.
just gonna keep
It's not
doing
going to
the thing
increase the
when they
median
go
household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting
These folk
citizenship
over here
and even
saying
entering the
that-
country.
that-
We
that
discriminated
niggas
against
ain't
them
gonna do nothing
and
with reparations.
basically put them under
I know,
apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other according to the FBI.
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came
They
from,
gonna
but
make
they
you
lied
drink
to
the
you.
Kool-Aid. You
Stats
listen to
don't
these
lie,
folk, you
though.
gonna be drinking
Statistics
Kool-Aid.
lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the
Cilantro,
statistics
so
being
I'm gonna have a
shown
little
a
bit
different way.
cilantro,
So
y'all.
if you're gonna start your argument on stats don't lie,
Yeah,
you've already
yeah,
lost the
man.
argument. They
I
lie.
haven't, though.
They lie all the time. One,
You can watch my video.
comparing Chinese people
Hey,
who are
look,
immigrants that made a
Manny said
choice
he
to
need
come
to
to the
watch the
United
video.
States,
Watch my
and
videos.
comparing the continued effort of black people to ground
Nah,
themselves
I
in a
just
nation
don't-
that
they ain't
continues
gotta watch
to
my shit.
make impediments
No,
for
they
them to
don't.
show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a
But
false
y'all better watch
equivalency.
my
I don't
shit.
believe
You
that
better
happens
watch
at all.
my
What
shit.
if-
Comment and
no one
subscribe
here
for
is
a
in-
new
Are
you
go
acting
watch the
right
fucking
now?
video.
Do you
No,
really
I'm
believe
I'm telling you
that?
the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor? When black men are more likely to kill me.
Oh my
Tell me.
God, this is scary.
Bro,
You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now. Okay? So on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism
in Washington, for example, has been.
She just checked him and he understood. She put him right in that box and he got in there happily.
Trying to segregate.
Hey, he's still black.
Dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor? When black men are more likely to kill me.
Oh my
Tell me.
God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now. Okay? So on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, when we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate black communities. Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
So it does exist.
Stating
that it doesn't exist doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact, and there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are affecting the school systems. If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy as allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in 3rd grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons.
How are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very, very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von.
Ben Carson beat a man with a lock.
Reparations. Actually, no, let me land the plane. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually trying to get this conversation off the fact. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And we also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one point that I wanted to say?
Question.
Ben Carson's cousins
well,
were
now
killed
she's being rude.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority.
Okay.
Please return to your seat.
She said, no, answer the question.
I really do. We in LA. We in LA. And
all these niggas in LA all we through were cooked. I thought LA was like lived up. I guess we got
what's that on your chin?
This is
COONS.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you got it.
That's the choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I am 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really? Mm-hmm. Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's the liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you
Oh my God, bro. This dude's a dummy.
From people.
This guy's a dummy, bro.
Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk
Onions
about
be so
that,
weird.
how is that fair if I'm a white person and my family fall on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they believed they hated slavery, and they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too because they believed that there will be a future where
Boy,
there
that
would
shit
be
look
a black
fire. They
president
try to
one
tell
day,
me
and
that
that
my
there
food
would
was
be
gonna
people in
look good,
leadership that were black.
but it
There was
looked
people from the
good.
North who helped with the Underground
They
Railroad
try
and
to
fought
tell
in the
me that my
South,
food
fought
was
with the
not gonna look.
Union to the
Stop
white.
talking, man. They try to tell me that my food was not gonna look good, but why it look spectacular? Why it look fantastic? Why it look scrumptious? Why it look yummy? What's the party in my tummy? Okay. I ain't doing what you said. I'm cooking for 7 more minutes, nigga. Oh shit. Shit. I can see your reflex is fast. I can
Is
see.
that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought
Alright, you
against
out.
slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves.
I,
That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of
Well,
slaves.
our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity, and we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president, and we had a black vice president. I mean, I think she was black. They said
This
she was
nigga is
black.
a terrible
I
black
don't know.
man, bro.
So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people, because you
White
can't
people.
win a popular election in this country without white people. So
White people.
Barack Obama is the product of white people. So
White
so
people.
let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what
I'm
our
gonna cut the
grandparents and
burgers up
Harriet
and then
Tubman
put them
and those
on and
people fought
then
for.
get them
They
out
fought for
and
Do
then
not
chop
freedom
up the
bring up
and
onions and
Harriet
veggies.
Tubman's name in vain, baby. Please,
they said the
Harriet
Lord's
Tubman.
name in vain.
Harriet
The Lord's
Tubman.
name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were
I
Underground
hate this
Railroad.
nigga,
Come
bro.
on in.
He
No,
said,
you know
yeah.
who
And
helped
you know
her?
who
Come on
helped her?
in in the
No,
back.
you know who
White
helped
people.
her?
She said
God.
she even never been
People,
able to do
people.
any of that if it
Benefit
wasn't
from
for the
white
white
supremacy.
man helping
One of the
her.
things
It's a
that we,
lie. White
one of the,
supremacy is
one
a
of the,
lie.
no, sir,
It's
that's
a
simply
lie.
not
There's no
true.
such. I mean, there's
If that
some.
were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power
You
when
know
they do
why they're
not
in
have the
position of
power.
power? Because
Let me
their
hear this.
culture, black culture, is toxic. The
Oh.
black
This
culture is
nigga hate
toxic.
himself,
We
bro.
have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the
This
fact
nigga
that there's
got
no
bullied.
fathers
So
in the
white
black
culture is
home.
This nigga
Let's
got
stop,
bullied.
talk
stop,
about
stop,
that.
stop, stop, stop,
Let's talk
stop,
Then
about
he
stop,
that.
stop,
said there's
stop.
no
Let's get to
father,
that.
so
None of
you
this is
had
gonna work
you
if
must
y'all
not
just
have a
gonna sit
daddy.
here and make
That's
up
probably
shit.
what
We
it
have a
It's
debate.
not
was.
gonna work. No, a
You're
debate
you're
has
you're
to be
you're
in fact.
They making
you're
stuff
putting
up.
off
Literally not.
emotional liberalism
I am
right
not
now.
putting off
Black
emotional
fathers are
liberalism.
one of
You're
the
putting off
no,
fun,
black fathers are
felony
the most
lies.
active fathers
Them folks said
in families. Isn't that like a statistics and some shit like that?
misinformation thing all summer, where everything
Look at this
conservatives
man.
did. They said
You're carrying a
misinformation,
chain
Yeah.
around your
misinformation,
neck of an
misinformation.
apartheid nation that
Bro,
actively
he
wants
really
to
is
harm
carrying the chain.
black people and
He
not
got that
especially
chain
Jewish people.
Whatever
tight.
Let me
It's a
bring it
choker
back.
for him.
Let
black
me bring
people
it
were
back.
selling black
Let
people
me
in
bring it.
Africa
That was not
and
happening
put
in the
them in
context.
Okay,
cages,
Bear, are they ready to
and
get
they were
off?
selling
Let's
their own
bring it
people.
back.
Black people still sell
Okay.
their own people
Cause I
today
don't know what
too.
I'm
I don't know
doing,
if I'm
y'all.
gonna last.
We're selling our own
I
people
can't. I
today
don't know if
too.
I'm gonna
You probably won't
last.
last with me.
What
I
do I
won't because the
smell?
ignorance is so
See, y'all,
overwhelming.
Yeah.
that's our name calling when y'all
No,
getting
it's
defeated
not
So
from
my
she
our
said when
side.
they
you
lift
won't
up
have
to
an
the top,
argument
they
because you keep
ready.
cutting me
No,
off.
When
but
the
that's fine.
fries
But
start
You
but
are
you
floating and
made
they
a good
golden
literally
point.
brown,
you
they
didn't make
I
my
ready.
made my
point.
point,
You haven't
and
made
I'm
your
okay
point.
with being
And let me
voted
just
out.
tell you about your point. You started off saying, we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Hold up,
Reparations
she
is not
checking
though.
him, baby.
Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard
Reparations
work.
is not hard
And you
work.
believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yeah.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should
That
people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking
Are you
marijuana,
sitting
be
at home playing a
giving
video game?
checks?
Smoking
Are you sitting at home playing a
marijuana.
video
The people
game?
that they're wanting
Am I sitting
reparations
at home
for,
playing a video game? No.
the people
And
they
I don't
want
know
reparations
I don't
for.
know who these people are that you're
What
talking
people
about
do you
because the
know just
majority
stay
of
at
the black
home playing the game
community
and smoking
is not
marijuana?
sitting
Other
playing
fucking
video
The majority
games.
of
teenager,
the black
dog.
Where are you
community is
getting
doing a
that
lot of
statistic?
things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is not
Alright,
right.
statistic?
I've
pause,
been
pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please
That's some
return to
teen
your
You know I'm gonna
shit.
be surrounded by
They saying
ignorance,
that
but damn. Let's
right.
go.
She's surrounded by dummies. Lord, I'm getting mad.
Hello. My hand's wet from the bottle.
My hands are sweaty because
Okay.
I'm nervous. We both got sweaty
Got it.
hands. Okay. So I just wanted clarity because I think it'd be helpful.
Mhm.
You said radical. I wanted just clarity on that, and then also with the reparations, you said it's not just money; it's other things. I just want to know, like, what do you see as like the grand picture of what would help
The grand picture of what would help.
of
What?
reparations? Like, what does that look like to you?
Oh, great. Reparations. What reparations looks like to me is a combination of reparations and remunerations. And
But I
reparations are
really
about
appreciate the
repair
niggas
for
who bring up
damages that have been
reparations.
caused based on harm. Remunerations
Cause
is a
I don't really
monetary
check that shit. I don't try
to
to think
work
about that.
that has not been paid for. So if you come and paint my house
Yeah.
and I don't pay you, you can take me to court and get remunerations for the work that you have done. So we're actually owed both in this nation as black people, and there are incredibly just clear-cut records that
What should we do?
show the buying and selling and
Something there.
purchasing of slaves, the work that was done, also the intellectual
You ate
property
the last
that
of the
was
beef
stolen
bacon?
from slaves, right? Because
Fat
there was so
ass.
much inventing that was happening, and there is also quite a bit
It ain't
of
no
other
vegetables in there. I'm talking about
reparations
some
that are being
almost. It ain't
discussed as it
none.
relates to property
Frozen?
being stolen, as it
Yeah,
relates
yeah,
to,
yeah.
again, redlining and the inability for black people to get
Just dump it
loans,
in there.
etc.
Oh yeah, yeah. Look,
It's being solely based on their race.
As far as like discrimination.
Yes, like they're being
these
solely
are
based on
French
their race,
fries, yo.
not being about
Check them
anything other
out.
than you're
You
black,
see,
so you
they
can't.
try to tell
Right?
me
And
not
so
to
when it's
season
very
my
clear cut
fries.
like that, there
Hold up,
are
black
very
woman. I understand you
distinctive.
trying to educate, but let me talk about my French fries, please. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, they talking about my French fries, saying that my French fries ain't hitting. Then what's this? They literally taste like Wingstop. I'm just saying. Hmm? Oh, she a asshole. She talking about they don't taste like nothing. Cause wing. Then why you always at Wingstop? She don't eat the fries. She right. Yeah, you could cook them longer. That's what I thought about too. But it's cool. Don't worry. Nah, man, you turn that video off. You wait till I upload my video. So watch my shit, Manny. You turn that video off, Manny. How he gonna watch the video I'm reacting to and then not watch my video? You know, bro, you don't need enemies. You don't need enemies when you got people like Manny. You got
Responses to that that can be done through a cash payment as well as through measures that are being done to create funds for creating
this fucking piece of
resources and
cat my shit. What
like
is this? This
housing,
cat food. What the fuck is
like
cat food
access
doing up on the
to
counter though?
food, access to education, etc.
No,
that
bro,
certain
I do
communities
not let the
have
cats
not
get
had
on the
access
counter.
to
They
because
jump
of
on
the
the counter, and I
funds
can't
thing.
control
And I just
that
had a
because
question. I'm
I
clarifying.
don't
With
invade on
the
people's
funds,
personal space. This is not
I'm
how I
wondering,
live.
where do you think those should come from? Like the actual
Mhm.
money, like is that we're raising money? Is it taxes? Like what does that look like?
Well, I think what they've been doing with these different reparations committees is they're looking at, all right, well, how much has this city or how much has this town or how much has this country
All right, let's
gained
get this.
from the estimated amount that was stolen from these people, right? So they're
So
looking at like what is this wage amount? For
we
instance,
got
like
about
if you
this
look
much
at
of lamb, y'all.
during that time,
Y'all
okay,
feeling
what was
me?
the
You
wage
feeling
amount
me?
that a hired worker would get for this same work? All right. And so we're
So
looking
let's
at
see what I
how
can
was
do
that
with this.
wage not provided and what is that pool that is being created? And then we're looking at, all right, where can that wage come from in terms of how has that wage been applied? So there are spaces where this is very clear. I think And I think the last thing that you asked about was the difference between liberal and radical.
Yeah, please.
All right, I don't
The
know what to
concept of
flavor
liberalism
this
is
with,
really
yo.
just not
So,
Republican, right?
let me
I
think.
mean, that's
Let me grab a
essentially what
French
it's
fry and
become.
think
I would
real quick.
disagree with that, but I understand that's your stance.
There's a very generic concept of what liberalism is, in the sense that it's simply saying that I am a part of the
Let me
bipartisan
think.
mind frame, but I am not a Republican.
We're
It's
making
a
burgers,
mindset.
right?
It doesn't always show up in action, but it's a mindset
So-
that says, you know, I don't support extremes in certain
Can't make a
ways,
burger without
or, you know,
cumin.
I want the
Can't
government
make a good burger
to
without
show
cumin.
up in
I mean,
certain
cumin.
ways. You know,
I mean,
know
cumin.
there's a conservative point of view that says there should be less government, but even though
You
it
don't
just
like
says
cumin
that,
on your burgers?
the action is very different. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our
Cumin go on
colonizers,
burgers.
which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical blacks do not believe that that is any way for us to have liberation.
Thank you for explaining that.
And thank you for being very respectful.
We were told to be respectful. We're not your enemies.
Thank
so.
you, my good friend.
Surrounded is now a
burgers, y'all.
podcast, available wherever you listen. Search Surrounded, plug in, and stay part of the conversation. Anywhere, anytime.
My next claim is that black on black crime is a result of underinvestment and over-policing.
So you
Lands
say that
fly.
black crime is due to underfunding and over-policing, essentially.
Yes.
I actually don't necessarily disagree with one of those.
Okay.
I think that, however, the government, who do you think should be responsible for the funding piece of the black community?
So
Should
I'm
that
at
be
it
something that the
parsley and
government should step
chives right
into,
now.
or should that be something that we as black people need to handle ourselves? Dr.
Parsley
Jordan
and
Peterson
chives.
and even Thomas Sowell and several others have stated one thing, that poverty and crime, there's a positive correlation. There's also a positive correlation in the black community of absentee fatherism being one of the root
Oh
causes
my
of
God,
leading
bro!
into
These
criminality. Black
dudes,
lawyers-
bro. What
black
is
males who
wrong
grow
with
up
these
without a
people?
father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I
I'm
think one
putting
Can I
of
put a
cumin
pin
on
right
the
there and
fucking
ask you a
burgers.
question?
ask me whatever you like.
What is the root cause
Fuck what she talking
of
about.
there
She
being
know what she talking
fathers
about.
present?
She tried to
Bad
tell me not
decision-making
to
on
put,
the part of the
not to put
fathers.
seasoning
We
on
live in a
fries,
patriarchal
and you
system.
tell me how to make my
Like it
burger.
or not, men have
Bro,
dominated the
come
social,
on,
economic,
bro.
economic,
What
and
the hell?
political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision-making, especially when we
I
focus on
thought
the
she was
black
behind
community,
me,
is
boy.
the
I thought
root
she was
cause
behind me,
of
boy.
fathers.
What type of decisions?
Not marrying the women we decide to lay down and have children with. Not being careful with the seeds that we plant in women. No woman can
Alright.
get pregnant without a man planting his seed inside of her. So
Well,
therefore,
obviously.
So it's marriage.
well, that's
Yeah.
that's a part of it.
That's
It's
exactly
that
what it is.
a part of
Marriage.
it.
I got some
But
hamburger
the
seasoning.
true piece
Probably
that
already
I'm
got
looking
some
at is
cumin in it, I bet.
connectedness between familial units. The black community was at its economically strongest while being
So
at
I
its
got
poorest
chives, parsley,
during
cumin,
the,
and hamburger seasoning on
segregation
it.
era. Prior to 1968,
So far.
Dr. Martin Luther King in his last speech said
Yeah.
that we have an
We got
annual
more
income of
cumin.
more than $30 billion a year, which is more than all of the exports
then-
of Canada and more than all of the exports of the United States and
Let's
more
do
than the
a
national budget of Canada.
cilantro
That
and a
was
little
when we
garlic
were
powder.
economically at our poorest. Yet 85% of our black children were growing up with a father in the home. There was less black on black crime.
All right,
There
now some
was less
cilantro, garlic
disenfranchised
powder.
Why was there less black on black crime?
because we needed to live together. We had to stick by each other. We had to stick
What
by
was
each
there
other.
also less of?
I'm not sure where you're leading. That's a leading question. I don't like those.
You don't like this?
I don't like leading questions. No, I like direct stuff.
So essentially, when we were living in
I
our
guess
own
some black
communities,
pepper, no.
we were also policing our own communities.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were not being
I didn't know
used
that.
as statistics in the same way to determine how resources were provided to our own communities. When
Wow.
we were going to the government saying, hey, we deserve because we are supposed to be separate but equal, we weren't saying, hey, we want to be with y'all. We were essentially saying, we want what you are stating we deserve. And that is what all of the efforts of the civil rights movement has been. It's literally just been to say, you said when
Steak
we
blend
got
on the
out
steak
of the Civil
fries, I
War
feel like,
that
you
we
know.
would be considered citizens, and all citizens should be getting equal access to these things. However, you are
This
actively
shit fire.
allowing the Klan
This fire.
to
This one on
harm
fries
us.
for
You are
sure.
actively
Who's
allowing.
killed,
Alright.
who's killed more black people, the Klan or us?
I would like to continue my statement.
Exactly.
I'll let
What are
speak
you talking
uninterrupted.
about?
When we
I
talk
hate these
about
people,
this
bro.
concept
Anyway, look at the
of
burger.
who is
Yeah,
harming
it
us,
look fire.
we are really
It look fire,
making a false claim
She's
when it comes
looking
to
at me
black on black
like
crime,
she
as if
hate
there
me,
isn't
but she
white
knows
on
she
white
gonna
crime.
eat it.
There's
So
also
I don't
this
care.
unnecessary effort to try and pathologize black on black crime in a way that you don't try to pathologize white on white crime.
All right,
White
I want to
people
wash
killing
my
each
hands. I
other
don't think I really
every
washed my
single
hands
day. Now, they
before
may
I
be
get
in
real up
jet
in this.
skis in the pictures after they shoot up their whole family, but nonetheless, there are white people killing each other every single day. Now, much of the reason
Every
why
day.
you may see more numbers in terms terms of black on black crime are for two reasons.
It's because
One,
of
the
media.
statistics be lying all the time. We have seen
Exactly.
this.
Okay, when you
We
say
have
that,
seen
no,
this
no,
in a real way.
but I have a
So in
question.
New
No, when you
Jersey.
say, no, no,
So
when
in
you
New
say that,
Jersey.
what numbers can be trusted? Because with the previous speaker, you
I'm
said
about to
statistics
tell
lie
you
to
right now.
Okay, so your sources can
You
be
can't
trusted.
such numbers. No, I'm literally about to give you an example of numbers not being able to be trusted.
Okay, talk to me.
That's what I was doing.
I'm
So,
listening.
Boo!
then listen.
Oh, the my ears on.
So listen, in New Jersey,
Listen.
they had a statistic that was created by the police department that said, look at how many black people are committing crimes. Look at how crazy this number is. These black people are so exorbitantly violent. Look at this. And then people went and actually matched the names that they were booking with the faces of the actual people incarcerated. And it was proven that they were lying.
So that's one. So that's one instance.
That's
Hold on.
one
No, you're talking to
example.
somebody that works as a police dispatcher when I'm not making content. So here's the thing.
Oh, I
So
see.
no. You see what?
Well,
the truth is, you're about to see the truth if you just give me a second. Like Trump said, just give me a second. I'm going to do the weave, but give me a minute.
Well, here's
So
what
when
you
you-
all
Wow.
do.
No,
You
just
keep
get-
interrupting
Wow.
me when I'm talking, and you don't
Please,
want to
let
hear
her
what point I'm
finish.
going to make.
The point that
And
you're
yet you want
raising-
me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works. So if you want me to keep
Bro,
getting
talk to
louder,
a black
I will
woman.
do it.
Ooh,
But
who's-
ultimately, if
who's
I
pretty
show
lady
you
back
respect,
there?
give me the respect.
Another
I am
goddamn
forced
CWO
to
in
make
us.
your points. I am countering your points. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest.
It's not a Church of Christ. It's
Whatever.
A cross. There's
It's a
difference.
cross. Same
Yep.
difference. You got an American flag and you think you know
Fire.
something because you a cop.
Fire.
And ultimately,
Not a cop, dispatcher, there's a
ultimately it's
difference.
it's ACAB all day
Alright.
over here. So let me make that clear. But let me also add to my point.
Why would she
My
say stir
point
fries as
is
soon as I put my
that
hands
you
in
can
this
sit
video?
here and blame black people on black people all day long and not acknowledge that we are forced
Yes, ma'am,
into.
baby. Yes,
You're
ma'am.
coming to interrupt me
I
again.
haven't even said a word.
All right, that is flagged, so I'm gonna ask you to return to your seat.
Yeah,
It's a
I don't
waste
like
of my
these
time.
people, bro.
Y'all just want to be seen. I don't need to.
There ain't a lot of seasoning in here, but I don't really like it with a lot of seasoning. I like to taste my pause.
Hello, how
I
are
was
you?
gonna say
I'm
something
Jasmine.
devious. I like the
Say
taste
less
of
often.
lamb.
Thank you.
See, I wasn't
So
gonna say
this is my
nothing
thing.
else.
I think the
I like the
premise
taste
of
of
your
lamb.
question was
I
black
like
on
the
black
the
crime. So I
actual
think
taste
I'm
of it.
coming from a
Like I
place,
want to taste it
and I
plain.
guess my issue is
So I do
having
minimum
had my
seasoning. Yeah, I
biological
saw how
father
much seasoning it
murdered
was,
by
but it
a
was
black
minimum.
man, having had my cousin shot in the head by a black man. We can talk numbers and statistics.
Bro,
and people
how
are doing
about you
what the
talk
white man is
about
doing
like
and all
how
that, but at the end of the
proximity,
day,
bro? If they
I
live in the
see
hood,
when
you
my
gonna
family
die
was
in the
the south
hood,
side of
bro.
Chicago, and I think
You
you and
can't
I
say
both
like
can
you can't
attest to
say,
this. And I'm not
oh,
saying that
this
they're not
is
other
black
factors,
people.
but
It's
we
no, it's
know
just
that
fucking
we kill each other at a
proximity, bro. What
disproportionate any other race. Now, why we do that and why 6,000 to 9,000 black men are going to be homicided or killed or whatever by the end of the year annually by other black men, whereas the likelihood of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per year, we know that we kill each other at a higher rate. So I'm not debating that there are not factors at play, but because I've lived the experience as a black woman losing my father to be murdered by a black man walking down the street, no worries, thank you, walking down the street in inner cities and different things, knowing that it's more likely that my own brother will rob and rape me than a white man or a white officer. We gotta be real.
What's your proximity to white men in the south side of Chicago? Are there even
Right.
white men around to rob and rape you? At the
She
same
live
rate
in
that there are black
Southside
men?
Chicago, bro.
At
Of
the
course,
same
this
rate.
shit gonna
There
happen
was
by
no
the
black
hands
people
of a
there,
black
but that doesn't
man.
justify the fact that we're destroying it.
Ain't nothing but
See,
black people there.
like,
Wait, we can agree on that.
Okay,
sis.
because I feel like a lot of
Nothing
times liberals will
justifies.
argue like, well,
I'm not
the
a
white people
liberal.
are killing
I am not
people.
alive. I'm not a liberal.
Okay, well, I will say that people that sometimes have your stance that are against conservatives, maybe they have this claim that they're making it up, they're making up the numbers. We know that we do that to each other. So I want to get to the root of the issue. Why are we
What is
killing
the
each
root of
other?
the issue?
I think the root of the issue is we've lost our values and we've lost our resilience as black people. We sit there and we talk about what the white man did and we talk about slavery and everything like that, but we have no self-accountability and say, you know what, at the end of the day, that is my black grandmother, that is my black sister, you are my black sister, and you know that a black man is more likely to rob you or commit some type of crime against you, and that's what we need to get down to the issue of. And like you were talking about earlier, like, hey, well, what's going on? You know, what do you think the answer is to one of the brothers that were speaking? I think it's the breakdown of the family. I think, like he said, because of our poor choices,
Bro,
and what happens
fuck
is
this
look
girl,
at domestic
bro.
violence, for example.
Bro,
In
why, bro?
domestic
This is
violence,
why I hate
women
being a
or
black
men or
man,
even
bro.
attacked,
Because
what
we
is the
don't,
first thing we say? It's like, you know what, it's
bro,
not your what? It's not your fault. So that's what we do. We hold on to this narrative.
Everybody hate us,
fault.
bro.
The issues in
Everybody's
our community
scared of
are not
us.
our
They
fault.
hate
The white
us,
man
bro.
just give us something. The old white lady down the street is looking
Now
at
she
me, and
trying
I
to
don't
do
know why she
some
got
black
business
girl
here. We
come
focus on all
ride
these
with
other
the
stupid things that
motherfucker.
don't
Nah,
matter.
bro.
We don't get to the root of the
I'm trying
fact
to
that
put
we're
it on
killing
black
each other
man.
at a higher rate than any other race. It is
That's
self-hatred
cause,
amongst us. I believe
that's
that we
cause,
can do that.
goddamn
But
me, we
my
are
cousin,
in
my mom's
the
cousin, excuse
goddamn
me,
hood.
coming
When
from the
you
church
live
parking
in
lot,
the
and guess who
hood,
stuck her up and robbed her at gunpoint? A black man.
because she in the hood,
My
in
point
the hood.
is that no, and I'm not
Yeah,
trying to be funny.
no
Unless,
black
like
man
you
would
said,
be
we're gonna
doing
keep it
that
respectful.
outside of
Yeah,
the
but
hood.
you're monopolizing the whole
Because
conversation.
I'm
We're
not
not
trying.
being
Okay, I'm
able
gonna let you
to.
speak, but let's
people
not get
live
the
in the
attitude and stuff
hood.
because you my sister and I respect you. So
I
how you
don't have
talk
an
to
I
attitude.
them-
I'm
told
direct
but
to
how
you,
you
but you're
talk
She
to
on
them
some
is
literally
not
female
talking to
Listen,
them.
camaraderie
you're not
stuff.
going to do that with me either.
Okay,
So
so
you're
bro. This is not a black man problem, a black woman problem. This is a poor problem. Anybody can kill or rob or steal. If you put them in the right predicament, they will.
I'm
Stating your
respecting you.
point, and you've been stating your point for quite some
So
time. Do
say
you have
the
a
proper
reason
ways.
for
Would
me
you
to
like?
respond?
Would you allow me to respond? So that's a better response. Go ahead.
The response that I have for you is
Okay.
that everything you're saying does not exist in a vacuum. I actually agree with you in that, yes, there has been an incredible denigration of black worth and black pride in this nation. I think it's also very important to acknowledge what has contributed to that. And to state that it is only black people that have contributed to that is a false flag. So we have to admit that. So in order to have this conversation around how we got here, you can't say, oh, well, we're caring about the white woman getting braids and that doesn't matter and this thing. All of that attaches. All of that is actually a very big part of the lack of worth of black people.
I'll ask you. Do you think we're resilient? What does resilience mean to you? Do you think we have to be perpetual victims?
What the
or do
hell
you
does
think
that
black
do with the
people are resilient?
conversation? What
Two
is
different
resilience got to do with the
conversations. I
conversation?
think because
Exactly.
I think that the concept of black people being victims is really trying to not provide accountability to where the root problem for the actual cause is. And if we keep saying that somebody is a victim,
I think
and
that this one
doesn't
right
mean that
here
the
is
other
just
person
majorly
should have to
confused.
actually
She
have
seems like she's on the
accountability,
fence,
then
but
what are
she's
we really
maybe
doing?
she
You
seems
can
like
do
she's really
both. You
confused.
can be a victim
But this should just be
and be resilient.
this
How
could
do we
be
do both if you stay in the victim
a
place?
good
That's
topic
my
for
But
question.
her
your
where she
statement
seemed like
about black
confused.
people staying
But
in
ask
the
about
victim
something else
place
and she
is
gonna be
also
going
your
back to
point
the
of view.
conservative.
But how do we rise above it?
We continue to rise above it by one, pouring into our communities with mutual aid, but two, by simultaneously making sure that we are challenging the systems that are in place to impede us. We have so many opportunities where we are trying to do mutual aid, and those things get disrupted by folks who want to have capitalist gain, by folks who want privatization. We used to have all these mom and pop businesses in our communities.
Yep.
There's
That
over
used to
3
serve
million black millionaires in America right now. You are an intelligent black woman that is
Are you
successful.
That's
No
stupid,
one's
bro? A
stopping you
black
from doing anything. I'm
billionaire
an
ain't got
intelligent
nothing to
black
do
woman
with
that
black
is
Many
people,
efforts
bro.
have tried to
A
stop me
black
from doing
billionaire
what I
is
do. We are not
literally
all
everything.
equal in our capabilities.
I mean, you can.
And we are not all
Bro,
equal in
I ain't
our
got the
ability
words
to
for
be
this.
invested
But a
in by
black
others.
billionaire
We are
ain't
not
don't
all
mean nothing
equal
good
in
for
our
us.
trauma.
Are we resilient?
We can't say because it is a false equivalency.
I believe that every black person has resilience.
We
from
keep
slavery
trying,
all the way until
but we
today.
keep trying to.
But what does resilience have to do with anything, bro? What the fuck is she talking about? I believe every black person's resilient, so
First,
yeah, don't give
I
them
want to say,
reparations,
I
and
want to
yeah,
kind of
let's
get
still
rid of its like
keep
right,
working under the
left, or
fucking
middle.
foot of the
I
fucking
really
white
want to talk
man.
about just
Yeah,
like our
let's
own
keep
personal
being
views and
oppressed
what
by
we've
fucking
experienced, what
America.
we've seen.
Yeah, let's keep fucking voting
And
Democrat,
when it
even
comes to
when
your
they
claim
doing for us. Oh, let's all switch
about
to
black on black
conservatives,
crime,
so
I
we can
really
just
do
speed
believe,
up
and I
the
think a lot of people
process.
here do believe, especially based off of personal experiences and everything, that it is just lack of accountability. In the black community, we need to start taking responsibility for our actions and stop pointing our fingers at other people and the white man.
What
'Cause
responsibility
Why
for our
can't both
actions?
happen
What
at the same time?
actions, bro?
Both are causes.
Because you gotta clean your own house
Exactly.
before you
Both are
go
why?
complain. Because if
If
we're
you're
gonna
So
cleaning
let's
your house,
stop
no,
all
no,
black
it's not.
crime
into
and
my
then
house,
let's go to the
and
white
I'm
man.
cleaning it,
What?
why can't I do both? Why can't I clean my house and bar the windows from you shitting on my house?
Exactly.
It begins with responsibility within us. If we're like,
Yes.
okay, oh, the white person's doing this to me, the white person's not. We're not
But
gonna
they
ever come
are.
to the core of the
But
issue.
they are.
But they are.
And it's not
They
just
really
the white
are.
person, because now we have seen
This is
very
crazy.
many races, people of very many backgrounds that are actively participating in the effort to keep a working class down. Like that is absolutely a fact. It's not just white people. So I don't attend to that. But I will say the reality of there being systems in place is real. Over policing is a real thing. You know what's also been really real is the effort of violence interruption in certain communities, right? So we've seen this in Detroit. We've seen this in New York. We've seen this in Baltimore, where there are communities that have said, what we're going to do is we're going to be like a neighborhood watch for our community. So that before the popo even come, before 12 even rolls up in here, we're going to actually put ourselves in between the conflict and calm it down. And that has been incredibly effective. But you know what? It's not funded. It's not funded. And you would think that like
What's
city
she talking
councils
about?
and
Gangs? Is she
mayors
talking about like
and
the
governors
original
would
gangs or
say,
something? What is she
shit,
trying to
you know
talk
what?
about?
This is going to
Or is
save
this
us so much
current?
money, because
this is
why?
some shit that I don't know
Taxpayers
about.
keep having to pay for the fault of these police officers. And even though we say, well, only certain people, only a certain number of people have died, that doesn't dispel the fact that a large amount, more black people are imprisoned than any other group in this nation. And that is not by accident.
Again,
that's by
I started with accountability, and it just seemed like not
But
the
I
whole time.
disagree with you.
No,
I mean,
you
Yeah,
don't.
because you
sorry, I
saying
don't
let's
disagree.
get
Here's
all the way.
Look at
You
our
saying let's be
because
like
look at God.
Christ and
Because
then
what
go
we're
to the white
glorifying,
man.
we're
Let's clean
glorifying
up.
violence.
Let's clean up the
Wait,
house
who's
and
we?
then
Who's
go
we?
go
Who's
to
the,
the
who controls the
go
who
go to the
controls
police.
the
What?
distribution
Come on,
of
bro.
these
What?
sources of media?
And
You
who
said
takes
so?
it
You
in?
saying,
And who takes it
bro?
in?
You
Listen,
just
if
saying
you're okay,
Who
so
nonsense,
takes it
let me
in?
put
dog.
it in this context. If I have a company, right, and you guys are my employees, and I determine what you get to eat every day, that's also going to determine how you exist in this company, right? Like if you come to work and I say the only thing you can eat is processed foods and fried foods, and you're not going to get to have the best vegetables,
Right,
etc. What's that
right.
going to affect? Your health. It's going to
Everything.
affect your ability to operate, etc. This is how the United States operates. There's a lot of us that don't want to admit that as much as accountable as we want to be, all of our brains also don't operate the same way. Some of us are much more apt to be indoctrinated than others. That's a fact. There is a 1% of people that knows this. There's a whole show called Mad Men that's about advertising, etc. And if we don't acknowledge multiple things at the same time, then we simply cannot stop it. We can be as accountable as we want to be. And I hope that if you're right, because I hope you're right, I wish that it was a situation where if black people could just be accountable, then nothing else would matter.
Yeah,
But unfortunately,
that'd be
that
lovely.
hasn't been the case because we have seen when we have
Exactly.
Black Wall Street in Tulsa and we have Black Wall Street in Durham, that when we actually do hold our own and build our own communities, they will still come and run it down.
Boss, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Oh my God.
Joshua.
Hello, Joshua.
Yeah. So I have two claims I want to settle. So I'm originally from New Orleans, right? And I seen black on black crime my whole life, right? It's I don't believe it have nothing to deal with the police. It's more with the community because there's a lot of pride that's in that city where to the point where this person ain't tell me nothing. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna take him out.
Yeah.
Is that simple in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Now Cali is probably the same way, but I
Okay.
feel like every state is different.
Cause you in the hood, you at the bottom of the barrel, bro.
Right, but in
You
New
can't,
Orleans,
bro.
it's a
When
little
you at the
different.
bottom, bro.
Also,
The
my second
underworld,
claim
bro.
is
The
this:
underworld gonna do
we
what the underworld do, bro. This is the
proclaim so
bottom
much
of the
about
barrel.
Black Lives Matter,
bro.
but when it come down to a white person killing a
That's
black person,
that's
it's
the
a big
thing,
deal.
bro. People don't be
It just
understanding.
don't
When you
no
live in
sense
the
to me.
Do
hood,
you know what
bro,
the statement Black Lives Matter is actually stated?
you were surrounded by people that are in the underworld, bro. When you hear gunshots and you see drugs, you see a lot of illegal shit going on. All that, you in the underworld, my boy. You got to get out the underworld because the underworld gonna stay the underworld. We gonna always America, as long as America is gonna be America, as long as the country gonna be the country. There's always gonna be a place for poor people, and I mean really really poor people to go, and that's the underworld. And it's fucked up to say, but that's what it's got to be. And what it's got to be, that's what it is. Because of what she talking about right now. Because they want the foot on my neck. Right here, like George Floyd. They want us to be all George Floyd.
Things?
Yeah, well, just started off from George Floyd.
Start off from Mike Brown.
George Floyd.
Okay.
So Black Lives Matter is really simply just
That's
stating
crazy.
that when black people are murdered by the police,
If that ain't
that
proof enough,
our lives
that
should
ain't
matter.
no coincidence, bro.
And that oftentimes it is not considered. It is oftentimes presented as we deserved it, or we must have done something to cause it, and that our lives are disposable. We also don't ever see true justice on the same level as others when the police incur violence against black people. So Black Lives Matter is a statement asserting that our lives are worth justice, our lives are worth preservation, and we have seen in innumerable instances a level of restraint operated between the police and people of other races that they do not seem to carry with black people. So that's what Black Lives Matter means. It doesn't mean that anyone else's life doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It means that ours matter just as much as their lives.
That's good that you cleared it out for people. Yeah, that's good.
I appreciate you. Now, as it comes to New Orleans, tell me this. Well, first of all, it was I think it's the senator of Louisiana who literally made a campaign ad.
They're not soggy, but they like soft.
That said, "Do you want Louisiana to be run by crackheads?" Like he said that, like straight
they
up.
They have a bunch of them there. Yeah. They
so
do.
here's my question about New Orleans. Would you
So my girl
say
said this,
that New
so
Orleans gets that particular
Put these
areas
french
of New Orleans,
Yeah,
for instance, like the Ninth Ward?
Yeah, the Ninth Ward's crazy, but I'm just saying they crazy.
Would you say that funding and attention
She like him because he's the most
dispersed equally across New Orleans in terms of resources? Because I know that from living through Katrina, that is absolutely not the case.
No, yeah, I agree with you.
He's not cutting her off.
everybody's not equal
He
when
on the
it
wall.
come down to resources. For
He
sure,
on
I
the
agree
fence
with
for
you.
sure.
Here's the thing I want to just impart is that I think that we have a very
I just got me
distorted
a session.
version of what resiliency and what restorative practice is because we live in a time where we're seeing so many things happen so fast. So like we've
It's
seen
trash.
technology like advance so fast, right? Like we have seen just our lives shift so fast that I think that we forget that as humans, our ability to recalibrate, to heal from trauma is simply not the same as the things that we are watching in technology.
That's
And
fire.
so we cannot just casually think that people just get over things. Katrina, people in New Orleans are still reeling from
Yeah, they
Katrina.
are. That's true. That's true.
You know what I
That
mean?
is true.
So
Yeah,
when we
that
talk
is true.
about the amount of crime and violence that is still living and happening explicitly in Katrina, we have to also talk about the amount of trauma, the amount of drug use, the amount of policing, the amount of all of these things that physically harm people across the world, not just in the United States, across the world in communities that are not being served, and how those communities never get the chance to quote unquote pull themselves up by the bootstraps.
Yeah, I agree. I personally agree. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
that
for
was fun.
sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
No problem.
Before we go any further,
So
we
many
want to take
black
a
people
moment to
be
say
like,
thanks so
nah,
much
bro.
to
So many people think it's the left or the right. There's a lot of different ways, bro, to go. You know, you can be right over here, but on this subject, you left. Like me. I'm right when it comes about my guns. Don't touch my fucking gun. Two all the way, baby.
Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Straight Arrow News helps you quickly find trust for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next claim is systemic racism isn't a theory. It's our lived reality backed by data and history.
I knew it. Bro,
Hello,
this nigga don't
John.
want he don't want to mess up his
Hello, John
shoes,
Samuel,
even though
for
that
your first
outfit
name.
fucking
All right.
crazy.
Blame my parents.
Hi, parents.
I want to listen to you first. Why do you feel that? Why do you feel that way?
Oh,
Why do you
John
feel
came to
That's
John went to
crazy.
debate
That
training
was
before
just
he came here. Okay. Ultimately, I feel that way because it's simply just facts. It's in the books, and that's why there have been laws to challenge it. There have been innumerable instances where actual systems were created specifically for the impediment of black people to advance. We have also seen innumerable instances where there were things created for black people to advance and they were taken back under the auspices of we don't want them to advance. Ultimately, systemic racism exists in our institutions on a government level, in our institutions, whether it's prisons or schools, and it is undeniable because they are actively trying to reinstate it right now.
Can you give me an example of one of those systems that you believe perpetuates that cycle of racism?
Redlining.
Cooking
Okay.
time.
And how does that, like, can you elaborate? Like, how is that affecting the black community?
Do you know what redlining is?
I know a little bit. I'm not an expert.
Redlining was a system
Dang,
that was
you can't
created
be.
to
You
determine
shouldn't
property
be up there if
values,
you don't know what
and
redlining
that said
is.
black
I ain't
people
gonna
could
lie.
only live in certain neighborhoods
Like, even
and
I
not
know
in
what that
other
is.
neighborhoods. And the redlining lowered the property values of those black neighborhoods by stating that they were more savage, that they were more dangerous, etc. Thus, they were not able to own property
Y'all know
that was
something
on
fucked up?
a level of par.
Oh, my bad. Y'all know something that's fucked up? I learned about redlining from my white friend. I didn't know what redlining was. My white friend told me what redlining was. He was like, yeah, you know, we redline in the city with the Delmar Divide. I was like, what? What's the Delmar Divide? He was like, you don't know what the Delmar Divide? I was like, they don't teach us this shit, bro. You about the Delmar Divide, right? Sweet. I didn't know about that. My white friend had to tell me about that. But you can see it to this day. It's crazy. You can see it. That shit was effective. It worked. It for sure worked.
To their white counterparts. There were also many efforts at just simply not allowing black people to get loans for property, putting them in predatory scenarios where they were being essentially unable to own land.
Make sure
And
y'all see that
inability
flip.
to own land, but still having to pay out a mortgage, if you will, or a rent, continue to put black people in a conundrum of not
I
being able
love
to
lamb.
excel at the same economic rate.
We got
as
to
the
eat
white
lamb over here.
counterparts.
My
What
girl
I'm
can't
hearing
eat
from
all
you,
the good red meat. She
if
can't eat
I'm
no
hearing
beef. That's
correctly,
bad
is
for
it,
y'all. Y'all got to
it
eat
feels
lamb.
like in
That's
the
better
United
red
States
meat.
that for a while we've kind of established these systems at their foundation and they've continued on and they've continually just oppressed black people and we haven't
Even though we
dismantled them and
frying
we haven't
everything,
done
we
much
frying
to
french
continue
fries
to
and some more
complete the
shit.
cycle.
Talking
Is
about I
that what
can't
I'm
eat
hearing
red
correctly?
meat.
Well, in many of these systems, they have been dismantled maybe in name,
Hey, man,
but
one day
because
we
this
gonna
country
get it
has
all
never
together.
dismantled the
You know, we
culture
ain't
of
gonna be
racism,
frying nothing.
they
You
end up
know,
still living in practice. So we
we
see
gonna
that,
cook the
for
lamb
instance, in
with
the
the
way that
sunlight type shit.
the appraisal system works. Now, we saw, like, there was
Get the
an
fuck out
entire
the way, bro.
documentary on how appraisals.
We gonna get a bigger air fryer one day. We need a bigger kitchen first. Shit. We can't fit a bigger air fryer. Y'all see that right there? Do it look like we can fit anything else on that motherfucking counter?
Have been also very racist home appraisals, right? So your ability to sell your house for the value that it deserves.
Right.
There were a number of homes, particularly in Marin County, California, where black people had one appraisal when they had their
Okay,
black
now I think
up,
the
so they
french
had
fries
their
getting about
dashikis
ready.
hanging, and they had their they had their black
Right.
good times
Yeah,
poster.
I can feel the
but
crisp
then
now.
when they removed all those items and put up
Dang,
white
my girl
people
just taught
and
me
a
how to make
dog
french
in the house,
fries.
and then had their white friends come and pose as the owners of the home, the appraisal was significantly higher. And we have seen that in a number of instances. Now, of course, that is just Marin County, but there are a number of other scenarios where this has been relayed. And that's why there were certain efforts by the Democratic Party to say, okay, well, we're going to try and step in for this.
I actually remember that case and I watched it with the family and I thought that was just really just terrible. But the problem I guess I have with systemic racism is, I guess for somebody like me, where my family
Oh yeah,
comes
they
from, the
perfect
Deep
now.
South, you probably don't even know
They
it, Aliceville, Alabama.
Okay, I was like the phone still
That's
on.
where my grandparents are from. And my grandpa came, if you saw the house that he grew up in, I'm not trying to be funny, it looked like a slave house. It was just, they grew up in poverty. And the fact that he was able to go from that and get the highest rank enlisted in the United States Navy amidst, all these, systems, so to speak, and he was able to buy his own house out in San Diego. He was able to, pass on these things to his son, my dad, and his grandchildren. Now I'm able to get an education. I was able to get my undergrad, my master's.
Shout out to Pops.
The great-great-grandson of
I know
enslaved
he'll
people
be
can now
hurt.
say that, educated and
boy,
can
I
run
know
for
he'll
Congress.
be hurt.
I don't see
Your
how
great-great-granddaddy
these systems are still in place
worked so hard
as they were before.
as a
Because
black
before, I
man,
would
and
say
now
you
you
do
a
have a little bit
conservative,
of
bro.
a foothold. You do have some validity
Bro,
there.
how would your
But I just think
great-granddaddy
these
feel
days,
about
when we
you,
call
bro?
it systemic racism,
You on the white
really
side.
what we're calling it is those people who may still be in those institutions, those individual
You on the
people
wrong
who
side
may
of the
actually
team,
be racist
boy.
and hold some racist ideals.
I mean,
who
I know
are
the
continuing to
Democrats ain't
perpetuate
doing
this.
shit, but
I
boy,
believe it's those
you
people.
on the
So
wrong
in
side of the
all
team.
reality, the problem is not the systemic racism. The problem is us. The problem starts with those people who are perpetuating these, kind of, racist ideals. And so I feel like just to attack these systems is just, it's nonsensical.
Who's running the system?
Like which system? You're talking about
Whether
Congress,
it's the prison
government?
whether it's the prison industrial complex, we're seeing this now with
Right.
with immigration and ICE. We're seeing this
Fire!
also with the effort at not making schools available for equal level of schooling available with the voucher systems that are now allowing tax dollars to allow people to go to segregated schools.
Right.
Who is controlling those systems? So, for instance, in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
So in
Fire.
Tennessee, you have a Senate and a House of Representatives that is largely controlled by white Republicans, and that have actively said, we are not going to consider what the people want in our constituencies. We are going to simply just do what we want
Fire.
to the point where they have removed.
So it's only in those states that have largely white legislators or largely white people are controlling these systems. I'm not trying to.
All right, let's get it.
Guys, I'm so sorry. You have been voted out. Please return to your seat.
All right, now you see the other one. I let the other one. I flipped the one on the
Oh, Lord.
Let me see.
So to go back to your
This one
plan,
right here, I
basically said
flipped
something about
earlier.
Tennessee and how they've said
This one right
what
here, I
exactly said
flipped.
they are not in favor
So,
of what
like-
their people said, or
Yeah, Tennessee has actively said, we're not really listening to our constituency. We're not
Oh, yeah.
even going to allow them in the gallery when we're voting on certain issues. So, for instance, like when it
Can I-
comes to
can I
like
see this shit?
guns in the classroom, like the,
So this
the
one's just been
constituency very
flipped.
largely
This was-
said
this
we
is
do not
just
want guns
flipped.
in the
This was
classroom,
flipped
and they're
first.
like, well, we don't care. We're going to do it anyway. We've also seen them actively silence members of the House of Representatives who are black and not silence someone who is doing the exact same action who is a white woman, Gloria. Shout out to the Justins.
You are right, actually, on this aspect. I did actually remember a time where 2 black Democrats, I believe, were actually not allowed.
Oh, my
to
bad,
speak.
gang.
And that was interesting.
My bad.
And I found that really insane, considering they're representatives of the state.
Yeah.
So no, I totally can get where you're coming from, but I don't think that's
Now
an
y'all know I just killed
institutionalized
that.
problem where it's a law.
Now
per
y'all
se.
know
I
I
think it's
just
more
killed
so a
that, bro.
personal
Now y'all
vendetta in a
know.
way.
What's the difference if you are a lawmaker and you are exacting your personal ability, your personal
Boy,
choice
stop playing with him, boy.
So if we're gonna go
Boy,
based
you
on
didn't
systemic
see it
racism, it has
coming.
to be institutionalized, which means it has to be written into law, made public. When it comes to that aspect, that's not necessarily made public by law. That's made public by choice.
Alright, we back. Gotta take a break. We back.
So I can give you an example in Tennessee.
Okay.
So for instance, in Tennessee, we can
Now we
say
jumping
that
up
they
flames. I
are
already got
put
the
into
other
law
burner on.
that now tax dollars, the public tax dollars will be supporting voucher systems. The voucher systems for the schools allow parents to choose whatever school they want their child to go to using taxpayer money. And these schools can be private schools. And private schools are not in any way limited from creating systems of segregation. And this is actually how segregated schools was carried out previous to the Brown versus Board of Education. So this is a systemic example. We also can acknowledge that systemic examples come from not always it being written into law. And I think that is a real straw man argument for the way that a lot of colorblind racism is carried out in the United States. And what happens when we do that is we ignore the fact that most of the people making the laws are not going to put their racism on the books.
Our black ass.
So obviously not going to put on the books. But when it comes to
We
the
lost
Civil
in the
Rights Acts
firmament.
of 1960, then you also want to talk about the one in
America,
1968.
that's the
They did
firmament.
actually give
And
more
once you
fair
get out
housing equality.
America,
That was the
Obviously,
goal.
have
But you see,
catapulted
that's the thing. It's like
out of rock, right,
so
right
that's
when
the,
you get on
that's
the
the difficult
airplane
part
and
of
go to
not
Africa,
changing a
you
culture.
out the firmament.
You can change the law all
Africa
day, but as
is
Martin
an
Luther King Jr. as
anti-permanent
adopted
area, so
Reverend
when you
Martin
go
Luther
fly
King
to
talks
Africa,
about in his final
when
book,
you unite
he
the
says, I
permanent,
feel
that's
like
for
I
all
integrated my
the
people
smart
into
black
a burning
people.
house.
They go fly to
Because
Africa. Like you remember in Belly when Nas he flew to Africa, he wants to go back home. That was the mission to get back. That was the main what they were saying. You gotta get out the firmament. America is the firmament where you in hell, you trapped in hell, doing all the crazy shit. You at the club robbing niggas, and you can't do that. When you out the firmament, you go out the firmament, and you out the firmament, and then now you in Africa. You back home, where you can chill. Bro, you a blunt. Wait, I shouldn't say that. We gonna cut that out.
understood America to be a place of morality.
Well, when it came back to even back in the 1960s,
But you
like,
in the firmament
Lyndon
right
B.
now. We
Johnson
all in the
actually
firmament
proposed
right
many
now.
systems in place
He
where
did, but
he actually
after
won.
that, people still got lynched.
Well, that's. I mean, I can't really say that's a systemic problem. That's definitely a personal heart problem. Those are more people's individual choices against someone else. But when it came down to,
if the system that's in place does not incarcerate those people or create any repercussions for those actions, then it is systemic.
Well,
because when you don't allow for there to be repercussions for harmful behaviors of the people, you are literally saying our system is okay with this. So that's what Black Lives Matter is about, right? Saying like, okay, if police are going to act in this way, well, there should at least be fair repercussions across all people that they're doing this to, and they're not carrying out those repercussions for Black people. Why? And so the system is supporting this personal point of view that you're talking about. And that's what makes it also systemic, along with the fact that we know for a fact that the number of Black people incarcerated is greater per capita than white people. We know that Black people are having longer sentences for the same crimes than white people. This not me making that up. Like, that is actual data.
Right,
So
pause.
systemic is real.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your
Thank
seat.
you.
thank you.
I don't understand how these niggas think. Like, so you think we don't have systemic racism, my bro?
All right, how you doing, Amanda? I'm
Hello,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here. All right, well, what I would say is, as far as systematic racism, right? I think most of us would agree that, at the very least, it has occurred in this country.
Okay.
Right? You know, we've had slavery, we've had Jim Crow segregation, all these different things.
Yeah.
I think my argument would be that right now in modern America, I don't think, at the very least, it's not as prevalent as it has been to where it could stop us from being successful. Okay, I would say that it's not a thing anymore where it needs to be talked about so much and so much attention focused on it. I don't think that currently there is systematic racism in a way that it's going to be harmful to us. Like I said, to stop us. If anything, really, I think institutions such as things with DEI.
What do you think DEI is?
Basically, I think that it's in a way it's racism against other races outside of blacks.
What?
And so,
where did you get that concept of it from?
I've researched a lot of things. I looked at different clips from both sides of the argument, things like that. But basically, my point is, I think that as far as systematic racism, I think that there's evidence from the other side, in that there's different things that are pushing black people up in ways that are not fair, and different things like that. Because I think that we should be merit-based. I think that should always be merit-based, and where we're in, when there's jobs and the different things like that, race should not be something that's considered. And so I think that, let's say that there are ways right now where systematic racism is still alive. Again, it's not holding us back to a point where we can still be successful. We've seen so many examples, today in modern times where black Americans can, there's no opportunities that I have that a white person, or that a white person has that I don't have. I believe that all opportunities.
Are you sure about that? Can you actually say that?
I would say that I have every opportunity in this country to be successful, to do what I want to do, and to stand on business that every other race has. Absolutely. And
do you have the
again,
same support?
Even if I don't have the same support, I can do what I got to do.
Do you have the same support?
I probably have more. I can have more support than others.
Support?
I have excellent community support. Absolutely.
Lucky for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where
did you grow up in a low income, high income community?
It was middle income.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, I think that even those who grow up in very needy situations, right, they may not have been dealt a great hand of cards.
But they still.
They can still, I think it comes down to accountability. You can still play your hand and play your cards strategically in a way where you can still be successful, you can still do your thing, and you can wind up on top. And there's nothing stopping us from doing that.
Would you say that low-income white people and low-income black people have the same ability to excel?
I would say they have the same ability to excel.
Okay, so I'm going to start countering from that point then. So ultimately, we know that our low-income communities are not given the same access to resources on a myriad of levels. They don't even have the same air quality, okay? We know that low-income communities in general are also going to be much more policed than other communities. We know that policing as it exists in the United States came from slave catching. So even the tradition of policing comes from protecting property, not protecting people, okay? So let's start there. When we talk about low income, like the working class black people in this nation, we know that they have never been considered, ever, whether they were slaves or not. They just weren't considered. And we also know, as our brother Isaiah pointed out, that there are still people in very powerful positions that hold very personal positions as it relates to racism. And so in that way, they are impediments to someone moving forward. When we talk about DEI, the concept of DEI is not about lowering a standard. It's about widening the options.
Bro, let's get a woman on
we
the
live in
stand,
a
bro. We
nation
ain't got
that
no women on the stand.
I feel like a lot of y'all are looking at the United States as a long history of something. We have a short history. All right? For 400 years, there was slavery. Black people were not even considered whole humans. We were 3/5 human. After the Civil War, during Reconstruction, black people were then subjected to the black laws. The black laws were specifically for black people. The black laws incarcerated black people at such an exorbitant rate that they were able to get another slave labor force through the 13th Amendment, because you had black people that were serving entire months-long, years-long cases, years-long sentences for jaywalking. So when we look at these things, we act as if, well, why can't we just get over that? That's 2 generations previous, okay? So if a father in the early 1900s was incarcerated for 2 years, how do you think that would impede their family from being able to grow, right? Now you're affecting the ability for their children to have 2 parents in the home. You also now have a mother who's incredibly stressed and may have to always be working, so she's not able to parent, etc. We also know that there is a continued effort in this nation to not have black people know the history of this nation. Like our good sis here was talking about, we have resilience, but this nation actively works systemically to keep that from us, right? We look in Florida at the laws that they are passing to not allow education about our past. And we know that if we don't know where we came from, how can we know where we're going?
Sure, okay.
All right,
So,
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
All good.
That's flag.
Yeah.
They don't like it when they let her talk. They don't like it when somebody letting her talk.
Hi.
Hi again.
Alright, now I got
We cool now?
We good. We good. I think we're on the same. We're kind of looking at the same side of the same coin, and I think because I think we both want the betterment of the black community, and I think we're maybe coming from it from different ways. And so I do respect your position to what you were saying as well, that there are certain things in power at play, and I've experienced racism firsthand. A lot of conservatives try to act like, oh, there's no racism in America. I absolutely believe there is racism in America. I believe racist people exist. I just don't think that the systems as they stand today are inherently racist, because I've seen too many black people overcome, and I just feel like a lot of times what's left out of the dialogue is self-accountability and like self-will. We talk about how we were racist of a person, but now we are 100%, I guess, according to the law or whatever, a person. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you wanted to walk out here right
and by
now,
the other side, I
like,
mean
you know
the
what,
right side, the black
I want to
side.
do that. You can, and that's why so many people and Nigerians come here and Indians come here, and so many people who are not white, who are supposed to be discriminated against because they're not white, they come here and they become doctors and lawyers. Why? Because to your point, there's community. There's a sense of pride about, you know what, I got to go honor my parents back in Nigeria. I'm part Nigerian. I have to go honor my parents. I have to go honor my elders. They're not twerking and shaking booty. They're getting fed.
They are literally twerking and shaking booty in
the
Nigeria.
Nigerians I know ain't doing it. If they are
We
twerking, but
literally
they
learned it
doctors
from Africa.
They're doctors twerking and shaking booty.
literally
So
have
maybe
it
they
from
shaking because they got
Africa.
the money to back it up. But you see what you're saying. But do you see what I'm saying though? We have to be honest, Amanda. When Indians come here,
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
okay,
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and
And
was
you
able to
saying
get
that
green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom.
Africans
There's a
sending money
very
back to their
big
families
difference in growing
is a
up somewhere
difference in growing
and
up
coming from a
when-
place where you
I
are the
gotta say
majority
it. I
and
don't
where
even have to
your
say it.
people are running the show than
I
being
don't even
somewhere
have to
where
say
your
it.
people have been subjugated the entire time your people have been
but your
here.
mama came here and she wasn't the majority. So how did
No.
she succeed?
She succeeded because she came here with the
Because,
fortitude of
exactly.
coming from a place.
Her resilience
That's not
was
what I
no,
was
but
gonna
you're
say.
not her village.
Let me say what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll let you unpack.
I'm gonna
If
let her
we
say
don't
it, then I'm gonna say
acknowledge
mine.
divide and conquer in the United States, we are having a pointless conversation.
I agree.
We have to acknowledge that there is a concerted
I'm
effort
glad I
at
didn't
divide and
watch this.
conquer
I
in
was
the
trying to
United
watch
States. We're
this.
literally watching it happen right now with an effort to divide and conquer and have black people fighting immigrants and have black people saying that immigrants don't matter.
And
So
fighting white people.
white people is not the point. The concept of white people is about people who are upholding a supremacy of whiteness versus people who understand that there should be an egalitarianism. There should be an equality.
We are becoming the new white supremacists.
We are.
We've been
We
putting them on
are.
a pedestal.
We are.
We feel like we can't
We
do
are.
anything.
No, it's not that
Ain't
we're putting
been
them.
nothing,
It's not
won't
that
be
we're putting them on a
nothing.
pedestal. It's that we are joining them
That's my
and
girl,
instead
too.
weaponizing our blackness against our
Man,
people.
we gotta
When
make
we do what you're
the salmon
saying,
tomorrow.
we are saying I am better
Dinner, we still want to do the
because
pizza, but salmon
I
tomorrow
figured it
for
out,
sure.
and so you're the problem because you didn't
But
figure it
Amanda,
out.
what about if I believe that the
Because the pizza
American
for
dream
lunch.
is, I have a right to that as well? Is that me joining white people, or is that me saying, you know what, I
What's
want
the
a life for
American
my
dream?
The American dream
What
for
the-
me, because it may look different from other people. Some people it's a boss chick. For me, I want my kids to grow up in a wonderful neighborhood. I want them to go to college. I
The
want
American dream,
to
you can
have
still
a
have an
401k.
American
I want to do
dream
this.
and
I want to
still
do
be
that.
liberal.
So
What
I
are
feel
you
like a lot of
saying?
times in the black community, we associate anything that's right or that's just or that's striving forward with whiteness. So when you say that we're working with
it's whiteness, it's capitalism. And I think that's what we have to understand the difference of. The concept of capitalism always is grounded in exploitation.
But Amanda,
so,
we're sitting here benefiting from capitalism, and you know that because you would
I
want to
understand
We
move
not
forward.
benefiting. Yeah, we benefiting from it, but
capitalism,
of
but I
course you're
also
gonna
understand that
benefit
we
from
would
this
have
side.
other
That's
people
what the
and
goal
a
is
vast
to.
a majority of people
You're gonna
benefit
want to
if we
benefit
were
in
not
the system,
solely
whatever
capitalist.
system
That is
you
what it means to
in.
be a
We
black
trying to make
radical.
the system
It's to
fucking better so
understand
you
that
can
I can
benefit more.
benefit as well as others.
So Amanda, what is your solution then? Because we know that capitalism benefits us, and people are
My
coming here every
solution
day.
is what I continue to say. We need to have coalition building across cultural differences, across ethnicities, across classes.
And that includes collaborating with white people.
I've never said it didn't.
But I
This
feel like a lot of times-
obsession with white people fails to acknowledge the fact that there are people who benefit from white supremacy.
But we live in America,
Let me finish
Amanda.
my point.
Go
There
ahead.
are people who benefit from white supremacy that do not identify themselves as white. They don't consider that to be the naming,
So these
the
burgers
most
is
important
sitting
element of their
out cold.
identity
I'ma let
because
them
they understand
be my
that
lunch
at the end of the
burgers.
day, we need to see each other
And
as
then I'ma,
humans that all deserve a right
the other
to
ones gonna
exist.
put up.
We all deserve a right to exist, and I shouldn't have to earn my right to exist. And that is what
What makes
capitalism
you think
does.
that you have to earn it? That's what I'm
That
saying.
is
Like,
what
I
this
don't feel
nation
that
is.
way.
You do have to earn it.
You don't have to earn
Yes,
it.
you do.
We're
That
in
is why
America.
we
You
are
literally,
criminalizing
that's
the poor.
literally the
We are
point of
criminalizing the poor
capitalism
on a
is to
regular
earn it.
basis.
What are you
It's-
saying?
How so?
Flag her.
Because
They
we're not
should be
even
flagging
allowing
her
for a
because
wage
they
to
go against
happen
what they
to
talking
allow
about.
people to get out of
The
poverty.
first, one of the first black dudes was like, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn
family that have done it, so we can't.
No, we have not had people that are done it. My mother came to America with an entire nursing degree. I can't say, oh, well, my mother did it, why can't you? Because my
mother was pregnant at 19 from the south side of Chicago with no degree and still made
good
something
for
of
your
herself.
mom.
Good for your mom. Not everybody can do that. Why do people
whether or
think
not some
what
people
is
can do
wrong
it.
with people
The question
like
and the reality is that it is not
Can't
available to
all
everyone in an equal way.
And that's unfortunate, but you know we live in a broken society. I went to Nigeria and
Oh my God! She said, you know, we live in a broken society.
It's the same thing in Nigeria.
Nigeria is a broken society, whereas Burkina Faso is not. Burkina Faso is not.
That's time.
My final claim is black conservatism fails to meet the needs of the working class.
These people just want to work hard. They want to be student athletes, bro. You can be a student athlete, bro, but that don't mean everybody else got to be a student athlete.
We're the ones
who
really want the best
just
for
want to work
working
hard.
people. I think we're the ones. Like a lot of the liberals, a lot of the leftists, they wanted to do things like office work. They wanted to go reparations, try to get things from the government and get handouts. We say, hey, go out there and work. Go out there and get these jobs that are available. Work with your hands. Do skilled trades. That's where a lot of us talk about skilled trades. So working class, that's really a black conservative thing, in my humble opinion.
I would beg to disagree. I think that would be true if black conservatism also created pathways for people to get those jobs and also to be able to challenge the corporations that are using their labor, that are stealing from them and not impeding them from having a union.
So for instance, like in the South, right?
I just left North Carolina where I met with the USSW, the Union of Southern Service Workers. This is an unofficial union of individuals who work at places like Waffle House, at Food Lion, etc. And their unofficial union is unofficial because the conservatives in that state will not allow for them to be officialized.
Legitimized.
Legitimized.
There you go. I got you.
It will not allow for them to be legitimized because then they would be able to push back legitimately on the corporations to get fair wages, right? So like someone was telling me in this organization that she was in Baltimore getting $15.25 as a minimum wage, and then when she moved just one state away, she was now only getting $7.25 for minimum wage, but the cost of living was the same for her. So when we talk about, you know, the effort of saying go out and get these jobs and get these trades, etc., I think that that is valid, but I think that the impediment by leveling up corporations and by pouring into the effort of corporations to keep billionaires, as black conservatives, you are actually cutting off the ability for those people to excel.
Okay, I understand your point, but a lot of us are more about being self-sufficient. So the South, a friend of mine down there, King Randall, has a school for boys. He's what, 22 years old? He has a bunch of kids living with him. He's teaching them physical skills they can do. Okay, being a mechanic, working on your car, working on your house, building things with your hands. So you don't got to worry about corporations. You could be your own man. You could be your own woman. And also, didn't you also say earlier that you're against
so
unions?
many people, bro.
But are you
No, I never said that.
Actually want to do that for
unions.
Absolutely.
So when you keep black folks out, you're for that as well? Because that's traditionally what they say, keep black folks out, correct?
Obviously, I am not for that. The reality is that
everybody can do perfect.
have definitely in the beginning kept black folks out. And the reason why they were keeping black folks out is because after the Civil War, when there was Reconstruction, you had all these black people that had been used with free labor, and they had skills, right? Whether they were a blacksmith or a carpenter or whatever. However, they could not get jobs because the white people who now had to fend for themselves, if you will, because they didn't have slaves, they had to go and learn all these trades.
Right.
And so they actively kept black people out of those jobs. And then what they would do is that when they would, as a union, say, we're going on strike, the black people would be like, well, we'll work, because they won't let us in their union anyway. And then when they would go and actually get those jobs that the people were on strike for, they would hang them. They would lynch them. So yes, these are real things that have taken place. But we keep having these conversations where we acknowledge the past when it's convenient, and then we only stay in the present when it's convenient. So you can't simultaneously say, well, everybody's fine now and there's no systemic racism, at the same time as stating that there are unions that are racist and unions that aren't racist. Ultimately, there is racism in the United States. It is deeply embedded. We have seen it in a myriad of examples, even just yesterday or today. And black conservatives are working against the working class because they are actively placing their vision, their ideology of black excellence in economics solely.
Well, there is racism
and in individual economics. And I think that's really the big difference of what we're talking about right now. You're talking about every man for themselves. Every man for themselves.
No. I don't say that.
Oh, you didn't say that?
I say that we have to be individual as people, as black people, but still get all of us on the same page. my friends at school, he's not just looking out for himself, he's looking for all these kids as well. So it's like, okay, I bring myself up and then bring everybody else up rather than relying upon the corporations and white people to lift us up. That's where we come
So
from.
I think there's a difference between relying on and acknowledging that there are impediments of. And I want to acknowledge the reality that we keep seeming to bump up against, which is that everybody has equal ability, and they don't. Everybody doesn't have the same impediments. So, for instance, I grew up with a single parent, not because...
Me too.
I grew up with a single parent, not because my father was some deadbeat that didn't have... My father has a MD from Harvard. My father has an MBA from Tufts.
My dad was a firefighter, so working class, conservative.
He just didn't want to be a parent. So when we talk about this whole idea of like, oh, the blacks that are, you know, not doing the thing, it's not about necessarily what class you're in. It's literally just about we live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't want to be a parent. We live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't need to be in cooperation with our community. And as far as I'm concerned, black conservatives do not address the needs of the working class, which are fair access to resources, which are equal access to getting jobs, which are equal pay to the same access as others. And we don't.
Equal to who?
Equal to other states even. Like, there's no reality where you can say that the same amount of white people are working low-wage jobs per capita as black people.
What you mean?
A lot of the reason is because there's such a disparate incarceration of black people that it impedes their ability to get higher level education as well as higher level employment because we know about disenfranchisement.
All right, there you go.
Myself a people.
Hi.
Hi, Layla.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
I'm
to meet
Layla.
you.
I would actually argue that the black working class is failing themselves. Wouldn't you agree that, you know, in order to get a job, in order to qualify for a certain position and an education system at a job, wouldn't you argue that it should be based off of qualifications and not your race or identity?
I've never argued that. I've never argued that. That's not
I
the
know
case.
that you were saying that you would argue that it should be equal, right? So you're saying that there should be black Americans in education systems, in jobs, but wouldn't you argue that they should be qualified for those positions and not just placed there because of their skin color?
I've never disapproved that.
Okay, so let's say...
That's not what DEI is.
Okay.
Do you know that?
Well, I'm not talking about DEI right now. Well,
because you're suggesting that I suggested that somebody should get a job just because they're black. And I've never asserted anything like that.
I mean, I understand that you may not say that exactly, but a lot
I
of the
didn't say that
claims
at all.
are, you know, they're pointing to that.
No, it's not pointing to that. And so that is, I need to clear this up because it's a really important point.
Okay.
We live in a nation that has actively pedestaled white people. Can we all agree on that? That we
In the past,
we can't.
in the past,
in the
but
past,
not currently,
in the past.
but not currently.
So, okay, fair.
Okay.
Okay, so how many black people are a part of this administration's cabinet?
I'm not sure. Can you tell me?
Zero.
Can you fill me in?
Zero.
Oh.
Who?
Bro.
So seems like there may be a couple. I don't know.
Scott Turner.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we got two.
So there are.
So we got two.
Can we also?
We got two. So back to your point. DEI is about expanding.
Oh yes. Okay.
Not lowering credibility.
Okay.
So if we have a system that has very actively said these particular people are the best people simply because of their race, DEI said, or their gender.
Okay.
Because DEI mostly leveled up white women.
Okay, so it would be incorrect if it's, you know, if we're pointing toward this, you know, a majority of a race is qualified.
I'm not even. Everyone
Yeah, whether they're white, black.
I don't even want to eat them up.
I mean, race is fake anyway.
Now, I do want to touch on a point that you did mention earlier, that you would argue that, you know,
Why
black
did I
people have
do
less
that? I should've
opportunities
split it
in
in
America.
twos,
I
made
do
two
not agree with
big-ass
that. I
burgers,
have
bro.
not had, you know,
First of all, you're a woman.
and so are you.
Yes.
And you're doing
so
great.
Thank her for acknowledging that light-skinned women have a different, not a different life, but a different life. Yeah, not the typical black woman. Y'all get pretty privileged. Y'all get, goddamn me, skin privilege. White people like you, white men like you. White girls think you less hard to deal with, easier to deal with, less combative. And a lot of times you have to be, but that's not a good thing. Combative means smart. That means you're intelligent. If you can argue a point, not every point, but if you can argue a point, you have intelligence, you have an opinion. Alright, let's get into it, man. I'm mad, bro.
Yourself.
Yes, and so colorism really does serve
but
us.
I do want to say, why do you think that is, though? Why do you think
I'm
that?
so
Do you think
mad.
it's just based
I don't
off the
even
color of our skin, or
I'm
do you
so
think
mad,
it's based
y'all.
off of the reputation that Black people make for themselves?
What reputation are Black people making for
What
themselves?
would you argue? Because I mean, when I look at
who makes
well,
the reputation for Black people?
Let's look at music, for example.
We already had this conversation with somebody else.
Well, we're gonna have it again. Most of the people that
are we?
Most of the people.
I'm gonna
Man,
tell
stop
you
being
right now,
smart.
let you know that the reality is that when you come to Black music, for you to say most of the people, you've already lost the argument.
Am I right?
There is no most of the people with Black people because you haven't heard of all of Black music.
Of the music that is, let's say, maybe exalted or shown by the media, right?
And who controls
Controls
those
the
systems?
media.
Defiles
And
Black
who
Americans.
controls those
But who's putting it out there? We are. Black. We're the ones putting it out there.
Distribution systems that are putting them out there
And
are owned by white people.
Who listens to them? Because I
don't
can
know.
bet you most of my friends, my Black friends that are not conservative, they listen to that music that defiles their bodies.
You know
that
who
talks
else
about
That
Black
defiles their
crime
bodies.
and
This
everybody
motherfucker
else.
crazy.
But if
Am I
we
right?
don't acknowledge
She crazy.
that they are not in the same way pursuing white voices talking about the same thing, even though they are.
Exactly.
Simply
White people
like
be
they
saying the
start
same
at the branches
stuff.
of a tree and not at the root. We have to understand that the media is king. Okay, media is king.
And media does
I'm
not
back, yeah, whatever.
does not favor conservatism. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
look at the
tripping, yeah.
protests right now in Los Angeles.
Depending on who is in office, media does favor them.
I mean,
Media
we
has
have Trump
never-
in office right
media
now,
has
and
never
media is not
favored-
favoring Trump at all.
Media is absolutely not favoring Trump
Okay,
in
thank
certain
you, thank you.
spaces because Trump is also not favoring that particular type of media. But it depends
okay.
on the day. And we have to acknowledge that regardless of whether you talk conservatism or not, media has never favored Black people at any point.
All right, guys.
Exactly.
That's time.
Exactly.
Thank you.
At any point.
Thank you.
At any point, media's never like say, "Hey, look at these these you know doing something good." Never. They said, "Look at these, you know."
So let's talk about facts. I just
look
want
at
to
these
move back to systemic racism because you mentioned systemic racism earlier. I just want to look at three
what they call us
applications of
now,
systemic racism against
the
white
woke,
people and
look
against
at these
East
woke
Asians
people,
as well.
these
So for example,
DEI.
we have the National College Attainment
They
Network,
always got a
which
dog
defines
whistle.
affirmative action or even race-conscious admissions as taking race as one of the factors in whether or not you're going to admit a student. And we noticed that when race
Sometimes they just plain out coach
black
them
enrollment
thug.
dropped 64%
You thug.
at
You
UC
know they
Berkeley.
talking about a
And
black
that is
man. They
that
say
is an
that.
act of systemic racism, trying to look at people's
It
races
could
and
be
allow
a
them into
group-
colleges whether or
it
not
could
they're
be
of a set
CCS
race is
with-
racism, and it's race conscious.
and
Martin Luther King's
everybody
most famous
else
quote is
black.
that he doesn't want his children to be done
And they
based
gonna
on
say
sex,
this
but by the
this the
content
white
of
man
character,
and the
and the content
thugs.
of people's characters also includes merit. We have another example of systemic racism. Burgess
Like the
Owens,
cheese
who's a
up.
representative out of
And
Utah.
they
He's a
bred
black
out. I'm
Republican
tripping.
representative. He called out the MIT president for having black-only dormitories. I mean, what does that mean? Why are we trying to segregate each other and say that black people feel safer amongst black people when the truth is they are actually more in danger when they're around black people? And that's
I
unfortunate.
feel way
Sad that
more
I'm saying
safer
this,
around
it's
a
the
nigga,
case, and
bro.
I have to say it because it's true, okay? Black people are killing each other at a vast, crazy rate. Black men rapping about it. It's savagery. It's barbaric, and we shouldn't be doing it as a people.
Have
We
you
should try to
ever?
get more Ben
Anybody
Carson.
watching
Ben
this? Have you ever
Carson's
been killed by a
were
black
murdered
man?
when
I
he
just
was
want
younger,
to know.
but his mother came to him and
I
gave
just
him
want to
a
know real
book.
quick. Anybody watching this? Have you ever been killed by a black man? How many black men do y'all know? Have they ever tried to kill you? I don't know, but I might kill my girl tonight, but you know that that's just a regular Monday for a black man, right? We just be killing everybody, right?
And told Ben Carson to read and study so to not be like his cousins. And Ben Carson separated two twins at the back of the head, and he's known as one of the best renowned neurologists or neuroscientists that we've ever seen.
Why
Ben Carson said that slaves were immigrants.
Exactly.
Well, they were brought here to the United States, and many of them were slaves, and we know that to be a fact.
What is the difference between someone being an immigrant and being a stolen person?
I mean, I understand that many people were stolen
Slaves
here,
are
but
immigrants.
90% of historians agree that slavery would have
I ain't
not
gonna
been
lie.
possible.
I get the Ben Carson love. Cause when I found out about Ben Carson, I was like, oh, that's my Obama. That's my Malcolm X. That's my Martin Luther King. You telling me he the first man to ever separate conjoined twins? Siamese twins, right? First person to ever separate them. Successfully. I saw the movie and everything. He even came to my sixth grade middle school and spoke. You know what I mean? Man, I seen Ben Carson speak. Did I see him? I don't know if I saw him because I was so young. No, I think I actually saw him speak. But he came to my school. Around that time I was dressing up real preppy. It was a uniform schools, but I didn't like like I I just wanted to wear something cool, so I like this like on some white boy shit, like some white uniform. The kids used to bully me. They said I got on church clothes, but I was dapper than. I had like a look. I used to wear like my regular collar t-shirt, and I'm like in sixth grade, bro. My regular collar t-shirt, and then I throw this sweater on I found in my room. I don't know where I got the sweater from. Again, I'm in sixth grade. I don't know where clothes come from for real. So, goddamn me, I put that on, and I had my regular khakis that you know, cause it's uniform school, and I had some nice ass some like cheap church shoes, pretty much. Like some dress shoes, some loafers. I don't know. I don't know what they were. It was like some regular classic dress shoes. They weren't no loafers. Put that on, go to school. Now, mind you, just before this, I was wearing a uniform with some tennis shoes like all the other kids. I put this on, feeling real cool. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta put that shit on today. Not, but I didn't know that's what I was thinking in my head. I just knew that I felt confident with this outfit on. I go to school, the kids looking at me like, boy, why you in church clothes? Why you in church clothes? Why you in church clothes, y'all? Why you in church clothes? And I was like, I, but I had one teacher, Mr. Edmond. He said, boy, you look nice, boy. You put that on, boy. And I was like, thank you, Mr. Edmond. You my favorite teacher. Mr. Edmond was my favorite teacher my whole life. He was the coolest teacher. I had two cool teachers my whole life. It was one teacher. His name was Mr. Kepke. I had him for third grade because my third grade teacher, she left. She left and no, she didn't leave. She went on maternity leave. 'Cause she was having a baby. She was pregnant the whole time. She was teaching us, and she had a baby. And then she came back like maybe like so she left like in January and she came back like in September or whatever the fuck. Or no, she left January, probably came back like March. What am I talking about? May, like March or April, something late. Cause I remember, yeah, like really late, like May, like March, April, or May, like probably April or May, right? And she came, or she left, and we got this dude, Mr. Kepke, and he was our substitute teacher for the rest of the year until like when she came back. Mr. Kepke could do fucking magic, dog. I kid you not. Mr. Kepke was the coolest dude. If it was a bug in the room, he would say, "Don't kill the bug." Just he would go pick the bug up and let it out the window. He was the coolest dude. Well, he would pick it out with his hands. Obviously, I think he was still a clean dude. He was still clean. He was cool as hell, and he could do magic, bro. He could do magic, bro. Like Mr. Kepke could do magic, bro. It was honestly insane. Like I don't remember the exact magic trick, but he did it with his keys. One day, the teachers, elementary school, they let the kids go down to the restroom. So the girls, I don't know what the girls doing because I never really paid attention. The girls in the restroom, the boys in the restroom, and then I guess oh yeah, while the boys waiting on the girls to go to the restroom, I think it was something like that. He showed all the boys a magic trick. He was like, "Y'all watch this," and then he did something with the keys. Like it was jingling, and then it stopped jingling or something like that. It was something crazy, and I was just like, "This is the coolest dude in the world." And he taught me how to play chess. But he taught everybody how to play chess. But I now that I think about it, I put all my knowledge of chess on him because he was a teacher that I had for that portion of the year. So he pretty much taught others how to play chess. That class how to play chess. Kept the coolest part because in the school it was mandatory that every student knew how to play chess by the third grade, I think, something like that. So it was cool. Miss Kepke was cool as hell. He did magic and shit. And then my teacher came back and then she married. Her name Miss Jackson. I'm like, okay, I'm not calling you that. You hear me, babe? My teacher want to get married, then come back, and her name now Miss Jackson. I ain't calling you no Miss Jackson. Personally, I can't do that. I respect that you got married and everything, but and then she was like, she's like, one day, I think they was talking about it. She was talking about, how it's elementary. teachers be talking with kids and stuff. So she was talking with the kids, you know, like while we was doing our assignment, and then I came up to her and said, Hermes Global, that's her original name, Hermes Global, and she was like, she said blah 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 blah, and I think a kid probably asked her why he still call you your old name, and then she was like, well, I understand why Jelani don't want to call me Miss Jackson. I said, I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you. I didn't say that, but because I was quiet, but in my head, I'm thinking like, oh my God, so she knows. Shout out to her, real teacher, bro. Because I'm not calling you no Miss Jackson, bro. That's my last name.
Both black slave owners within Africa didn't sell off their people. White people didn't show up and just start stealing people. They didn't do that. That's not how that worked.
They literally did that.
But they didn't. They worked with black owners and black.
They
the Arabs, the same
literally
thing.
did that.
It's funny,
And Arabs did that as well. And I think it's very important. And I think it's important to note that there is an oversimplification of history as well as of black people in Africa. There's a failure to acknowledge that in Africa, black people did not.
What you say about the South Side? What you say? I thought we was talking about the South Side. My girl watching Love Island, y'all. Who's she in love with? I'm not. The meat fire, but it's too much bread. That's how I fix this though. Look, you know the food nasty when your girl goes, you made us some food. And she didn't even say burgers, she just said food. Best thing was the fries. Get out of my face. That's disrespect. Y'all saw how she just disrespected me. Best things was the fries. Ungrateful. Ungrateful. You see what I'm saying? But I would like two. I'm gonna do two next time. I'm gonna do next time. I got Andrew, baby. I'm trying to have so many. I can have them. I just can't have too many of them. That's why I don't drink coffee, caffeine like that.
Consider themselves black people. That was a racial distinction that was solely created by white oppressors to legitimize slavery.
Arab oppressors, actually, because the Arabs did it in the 7th century. They were the first ones.
They did not name it under blackness. They simply just decided we're going to go and have enslavers. This was a decision that was actualized and then tried to be pushed forward through eugenics. Literally, there was an executive order that was passed a few months ago that said that Donald Trump wants to now control the museums because he wants to take back control of the narrative around race. And in one of these museums that they cited was that there was a display that speaks about race not as a biological thing, but as something that has just been created as a social construct. And he stated that that is an incorrect expression of race, that race is biological.
But it is biological. Like, let's look at
wow.
the hair texture. It's a biological thing. sure there's a social concept, but there's biological differences that exist.
You're very convicted in
made
your
up,
lack
dummy.
of information around these things.
Race is made
and
up.
Ethnicity are two different things, okay?
I'm talking about
Ethnicity
race.
is where you're from. Race is literally something that was created to put people into categories
A classing
of caste,
system.
to put people into categories of oppression. Race is not something that you are. Race is something that was bestowed and put
That's
upon you.
racism, not race. Race is simply the
race
aggregation.
is literally something that was created and put upon you. And I want you to listen
Where
to
the
me
fact
as
check?
somebody who studied this,
check.
who has a
Yeah, it
master's
was
in African American studies from
bro,
the Institute for Research.
oh,
in
he
African
done watch
Studies
Hidden
at
Colors.
Columbia
Oh, he
University.
didn't have
I
a
want
black
you to
mama.
understand
Oh,
very
he
clearly
probably didn't
that
have a
race
daddy.
is not
Oh, that's what's
something
going
that is
on.
biological. There is literally
Look at us.
no.
Look at the
There is
differences.
there is many differences
boy
that are equated to ours that
And
has
they're
nothing
not
to do with race.
biological.
That
Melanin
has nothing to
content
do
is
with
not
race.
biological at
So
all.
if you have a black parent and you have a white parent, and now you come out looking white, how is that a biological
But most
proof of your race?
most of them
There's
come
no
out
most of them.
having
Stop,
curly
stop,
hair.
stop. There's no most of them. You do not
Mixed
have
race.
anything to
You're
prove
mixed
that.
race too.
I am not mixed race. My mother is black and my father is black.
Well, my father is also considered black, but he's very much has a lot of European DNA. And
you know what I think? I think that you are at a phase of your learning where you are a contrarian, and I look forward to because I have a feeling that you're actually going to flip the script eventually because
we all see it. What's your young ass? What's your young ass? You stupid.
You are somebody that definitely is grounded in wanting to learn facts and wanting to learn the truths of things. However, you're currently still stuck in an indoctrinated space that is tricking you into thinking that you are something that you are not. You are a black person who is literally having to receive the results of racism, but ultimately you are of an ethnicity that has thrived in spite of it. And that is where we really exist from. And that is where our resilience comes from in spite of systemic racism.
I think our resilience is happening now. I think growing, understanding the real problems, not going out and trying to protest against.
Some of these black
you guys don't ever do this.
KTS,
you guys don't ever do that. You and you guys.
Educate them.
Members of the black community don't want to hold account of people accountable, especially black people. So KTS Stray was shot 60 times outside of Cook County, Chicago. How many BLM members came out?
Every time you
earlier said BLM is
somebody to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police because I remember you said.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where was I born?
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay.
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
In Maine.
Yes.
And what is the population of black people in the town that you're from?
It's really extremely low, but I grew up around black people, and there was a black community where I lived.
And that black community that you lived in, did they teach you about black history in the United States?
Like,
are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
No, because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola.
But again, like I told you earlier, right?
It's always they be sneaky, bro, cause just like us, bro, but they raised differently. They raised way differently. Like a lot of Africans, most of them be cool as fuck, but it's some of them where they be like this. And that's cause they wasn't in America when America was being America. And their family don't know nothing about that. And they train immigrants when they come over here. I think they do like some type of subliminal training to where they like show them and tell them like, yo, you gotta, watch out for them. The ones that look like you but not you, watch out for them because you better than them. And they want them to think that, and we are the same, so it can, cause chaos. Oh man, I didn't drop my fry. He African. That's why he's talking like that. Why do they just not raised the same? They don't know what America is like that for real. They don't know the history. They don't know the history.
In terms of people like KTS,
she just exposed him, bro. She really found
you earlier said, please finish. You earlier said that BLM is worried about police, but when Daniel Penny choked out the man that we all know was causing violence on that subway train,
he was not causing violence.
He was threatening
people.
Causing
disruption is not causing violence.
He was threatening people.
Causing disruption is not causing violence.
I can't believe he said that. He bringing up the homeless dude. They got choked out by some random ass veteran on the fucking plane. On the metro. How do your brain work?
Are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, no, that's not black. No, talking about are they here?
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes, but again,
exactly.
Like I told you earlier, right? In terms of people like KTS Stray, they were shot. BLM
Not
doesn't come out for them.
American.
And
you're
I
black,
remember
but
you
you're
earlier
not
said,
American,
hold on, can I please
bro.
finish?
It's a
Can I please
different
finish? You
fucking
earlier
thing,
said that
dude.
BLM is worried about police, but when Daniel Penny choked out the man that we all know was causing violence on that subway train
He
or
was
subway
not
station,
causing violence.
he was threatening
Causing
people.
disruption is not causing violence.
He was threatening people.
Causing disruption is not
And the
causing
people
violence.
there, and the people there helped him also, and we know that he helped them.
I don't know what that has to do with BLM. Random people on a train is not Black Lives Matter.
BLM showed up for that. They did.
Showed up for what?
BLM showed up threatening white people, saying that they were going to
No,
go
they
get white
didn't.
people. Now they
BLM
did.
protested.
BLM New York.
BLM protested. Where did you get that from? You see, your sources are not. You're not able to
But I
cite
have all
your
the
sources.
in
Please
New York.
go sit down.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's
you
not
can
the
try to
truth.
avoid it.
It's not the truth. It's not the. Nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is
Please,
not
somebody
the
tell them.
same.
It's
Period.
not the same.
And ultimately,
It's never
the
the
best
same.
effort
It's
that we
not
can
the
do
same.
as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of Black Americans.
Thank you, Black woman. Black woman.
Who feels passionately about something that they want to talk to me about? I choose John Samuel because I like his facial hair and dashiki pairing. I feel like he's gonna sing a mean R&B.
Which one? My claim is that Black people as a community need to walk away from the Democratic Party and progressivism completely. I'm saying this from a very unique perspective. I'm not trying to shout myself or anything.
I'm with you with the Democrat, but progressive, my dude.
Currently, I'm running for Congress, right? One of the biggest hurdles I have in doing that is the Black community. It's because they expect us to be in this box.
What's the box?
The box would be, okay, you're Black, so you got to be a Democrat. You got to think this way. You have to have this view on this matter.
No, you got to tell me, think what way? Like, I really want to understand.
So let's take immigration. That's a hot button issue right now, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
My view is that you should come here the legal way, and that if you don't come here the legal way, you are subject to the laws of the country. But I also feel that if you're...
anyone would disagree with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that a lot of people, especially where I'm from San Diego, will like to put Black conservatives in this box. And the reason why I say specifically in my claim that Black people need to walk away from the Democratic Party is because every single election cycle, all they do is use us as their tokens, they use us as their kind of election tools, they use us as these campaign posters, they tell us to come to their rallies, they tell us to sing on their stages, they tell us to do all these things, and they forget about us 3 other years, and they remember us 4 years later. Every single cycle, it happens again and again.
He right. But conservatism is not the answer,
like you have
my
a
guy.
love for the Black community. You have a love for people, and I appreciate that. And I do too, because I don't express that in the same way as, let's say, as a Black person who's a member of the Democratic Party. I get called Uncle Tom. I get called.
You are.
I get called a racist. I hate myself.
100%.
All these. I love myself, and I love our people.
Who you telling me that, or you telling yourself that? Who you telling, bro?
This table that everyone is seated at, we deserve rights. We deserve all these things.
But
however,
but you
what
conservative,
I don't like
so
more
that
than
tells
more than
us that
anything
you
is
don't
being
think that we
used.
conservative.
It's being used by politicians, being used by governments as some type of puppet to say, here's my Black person that's voting for me. I don't like that, and it makes me sad. No matter you're Democrat, Independent, Green Party, whatever. Yes. Sorry.
I completely agree.
Stop trying to get off your little spiel, bro.
Add to that,
you ain't getting no votes.
It's no different with the Conservative Party. That there is 1,000% a use of Black people to weaponize a concerted effort to literally, quote unquote, make America great again. The concept of make America great again did not start with Donald Trump. It started with Ronald Reagan, and it happened right after the Civil Rights Movement. There was a very strong, visceral response by white people after the Civil Rights Movement, after the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Fair Housing Act of 1969, the Economic Opportunity Act of 1965. These were all efforts that were put in place on a federal level to say, okay, fine, here we're going to give you a little bit of something to get your weight up. After that, there was a active effort made by conservatives, because that's also when we saw the flip between the Democratic and Republican parties. There was a flip. That's actively what happened. There was a flip. And
Since
we
Reconstruction, Democratic Party has been the party of slavery, the party of racism.
There was a flip because the Democrats were more aligned with making these civil rights concessions than the Republicans. Ultimately, though, the flip is what people are misappropriating, because the flip isn't a 180. Okay, if the flip is literally just we was this and now we this, and that is not the same as we are for black people. The Democratic Party is not for black people, nor is the Republican Party. Any nation that has a bipartisan system that doesn't even allow for its own people to determine who are going to be the candidates for president isn't for its people in general, beyond blackness. So it's imperative that we begin to truly understand the systems at work in this government that not only hinder us as black people, but they hinder anyone who wants to see change, because they are ultimately working together. Now, do we see one party activating higher levels of discrimination than others? Yes. Do we see one party that is more violent per se than others? Yes, and we can say this on many different levels. But when it comes to like enacting genocide or destabilizing other nations, we know that that happens on an American level, regardless, okay? I completely agree that the idea that you have to act a certain way as a black person is really problematic, because the Democrats and the Republicans, neither of them actually care about black people. And when we talk about conservatism or we talk about being liberal, neither of these aspects were grounded in how do we help to repair the harm that we have caused an entire group of people who made it possible for us to even have a constitution. So you can sit here and show me whatever you want.
No. The only reason why I was going to show you this.
I ain't even gotta talk. I ain't even
gotta talk. We weren't even humans.
What?
When they wrote it.
So that was another fact check I wanted to kind of fact check before, but I couldn't say anything. But the 3/5 compromise had nothing to do with your 3/5 of a person. The 3/5 compromise had to do with representation.
He about to teach me something new.
So there's a little note here if you open this.
The 3/5 compromise
was literally saying that
slaveholders
what is he
needed
saying?
to be represented fairly in Congress. Because there was so many more slaves than actual white people in the South, they were allowed to count their slaves.
He about to correct all history, bro.
Even though those slaves did not have the ability to vote.
If we were at that time, let's say the 3/5 compromise never happened, we were
Don't look at my girl.
Don't
look at my girl.
As light of the government, right? If that happened,
that's my girl.
Then this America would not be the America
that
you know today. Because what it was is, if it
my
was,
girl.
we were counted as
You're defending the 3/5
I'm
compromise.
talking about
listen,
my girl.
My girl. Mischaracterize what I'm saying. It's absolutely disgusting and immoral thing.
Nah, get my candy. That's my candy. My candy. Get out. No, you had enough. Now, go to the couch. Now you the couch girl. You ain't getting none of my candy. You came to the wrong spot and violated.
Right? So what would happen is they would have more representation.
This is really her candy. I'm just taking it. I'm
those laws that were, by the abolitionists, those would have been gone. Okay, so that would have gave the South more power to do the things that they couldn't do. So that's why they said the 3/5 compromise, because then if it's 3/5 compromise, they don't get that power. But of course they're people, so they have to say something, and that's where this came into play. Because if it wasn't for that, this country would have looked a lot differently.
So you're suggesting that it was okay for slaves' bodies to not only be used for labor, but also used to empower those who are harming them to be fairly represented in government?
I think it's absolutely, they should have been used, period.
Okay,
I think it was
so then we agree on that.
Yeah,
so we agree on that.
It was absolutely abhorrent. There's no excuse for it. There's no justification for it.
So then where's the argument? Because ultimately, when there was an opportunity in Reconstruction for there to be equality and humans considered in a real way and protected,
Democrats torched it. Andrew Johnson.
Yes. As well as the Supreme Court. That's actually more important what we have to acknowledge. The Supreme Court torched it. The Supreme Court has actively, throughout this entire existence of this nation, been at the forefront of impeding any advancement, and it ends up sending us back over and over and over again because it doesn't have term limits, because it doesn't have term limits. You know, it's not elected, it's appointed, and ultimately they have made it abundantly clear that they pick and choose when it's the states that are going to have rights and when they're going to be in a federal position of precedence.
Well, that has to do with the supremacy clause. So the supremacy clause is when a federal law is in conflict with state's law.
I like
the federal law.
For example,
in California, weed is legal, right?
Yes, but federally,
Like,
it's not.
going
So
on
they
in
can
the
come down
back.
here and they could say, hey,
Now,
we're going to rate all this
like,
dirt,
I have
and
to
they would
watch
be
the TV
completely in line with the
And
law.
so this is how segregation and
like a
discrimination
G.
ended up existing even
Y'all
after
gotta
the
get
civil
the
rights
calls.
laws of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment were passed because Congress said we need to protect black people, and the Supreme Court said we actually are not going to give you the right to do so. For what it's worth, I think we can do this back and forth all day, but at the end of the day, I will completely agree with you. Black people need to let the Democrats go. I think black people need to let both of these parties go and figure out a way to move forward together in our own nation.
You know what? I can actually get on with that because, I don't believe that all Republicans are, good and not using us as well.
Power
I
to the
agree with
people,
that.
brother.
I agree with that. And
Let's sing a duet.
I'm for no matter what color skin you are, of black, whatever it is, think for yourself. If you think for yourself and you do your own research and you want to be a liberal radical, go for it. If you want to think for yourself and be a Green Party,
get shit up. You ain't gonna get it off
if you want to be liberal and be a Republican, then
He not gonna get it off around.
I'm down with it. Think for ourselves. Let's do it. Let's do it.
She funny as hell, bro. Oh God.
I appreciate coming on the show and
Green,
debating with Amanda. I could see that there was a care for the community and there was a care for
wanting
to uplift us rather than treat us like a monolith. And that's what I'm all about. Regardless if you're a Democrat, Green Party, or Republican, I just think that people are far more complex than we give them credit.
There is an active effort of folks on any side of the aisle that want to see the elevation of black people to be able to come together and have real conversations that are grounded not in stats.
I was saving this. I was like, I don't know, bro. Should I say this?
But it's
should
what
I
it
take
is
this to work?
that are grounded in love.
Watch this at work.
And I hope that whatever anyone took away from this conversation is the reality that I really do love black people. I love people. And I love the ability to
the only person I love in this video was her, because everybody else was on that BS.
Exist on this earth and have access to joy.
I think sometimes things got a little bit heated, and that's okay because emotions get the best of us. But I think overall she did pretty well for her position. I don't agree with her for the most part, but I think she did pretty well.
Just kind of seeing this dynamic that this is really what happens. A lot of times when we look at discourse, we look at it online, so everybody's typing and typing. But this is what real discourse looks like. When you have to really sit in front of someone and unpack your arguments, you can see the pressure that causes and how you have to really kind of have your thoughts together and how heated and emotional it can get. So I think the fact that you guys created this space for us to be able to do that is awesome. Whether it's productive or not, we'll only see. Hopefully some of the things that, we said stick with Amanda. She was using some of my quotes, about like resilience and everything. And I was like, okay, so I'm planting a little bit of seeds there. And then of course there were times where when she was right, she was right. I was like, you know what? She has a point. So I think it's pretty productive.
But like I said, some of these she was one of them fence sitters. She was one of them fence sitters. That's cool as hell though. What a video. I like these. See, everybody hating on Jubilee, but I like them, like, fuck it. It's brain rot, it ain't gonna solve nothing, but, fuck it, Alright, this video. That's it. Wait, hold up. That's it. Hold up. That's it. Hold up. That's it. Hold up. That's it. That's it. This my outro. Now the video just gotta stop. Somebody stop the video. You gotta stop the video. Just stop the video. Somebody press pause on the nigga. Somebody go like, comment, and subscribe for a nigga. Go like, comment. Hold up. Go like, comment. Hold up. You gotta spray the leaves. You gotta get in here real quick. Go like, comment, and subscribe. You gotta let the fingers turn. Go like, comment, and subscribe, nigga. 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 Nah, I'm out.